Yo, what up? All right. I guess we're starting this. Um, how's everyone doing? Are people still? Oh no, I'm in private chat. I can't see comments. Are people commenting? I don't know. I don't know how this goes. John was hanging out with here for a second. He's like the person that's helping out. Said he had to go promote and do a bunch of stuff. So it's just me by myself right now with a little bit of tea, which is quite nice. Oh, John confirms that there are people here. That's good because you don't really want to talk to yourself on camera, like by yourself, because then you start feeling, you start questioning your sanity, and that's never fun. Anyway, hi everybody. Thank you so much for coming. I'm going to be doing some fun portraiture of the mythological kind today. I'm going to be just talking about some of the things that I like to think about while I'm making these kinds of portraits. Some of the design philosophies that I like to think about, or even just how I approach portraits. And if you guys have any questions or any thoughts, any commentaries, any proposals, marriage proposal, no, not marriage proposal, sorry, anything at all, just like hit it up in the comments and I'll try my best to answer it as I'm painting. I mentioned earlier in another like in one of the drawing jams that talking while painting is the same thing as drunk driving. So there might be moments in my demo in which I won't be able to fully answer your questions if they're too like mind intensive, because then you have like your brain trying to figure out what are you painting, and then you're trying to answer the question and be real good to everybody, and that can be tricky, right? But let's get started. Also, I'm drinking peppermint tea for those who are curious. I had a little bit of a tummy issue. Still having it. I'm a little nauseous, which is not great for a demo, but you move on. The show's got to move on. All right. I'm sharing screen right now. Look at me. Look at me. Look at John helping out. So wonderful. So one of the things that I was thinking about was just like, all right, what am I going to paint today? What am I thinking about in terms of like all the stuff that I kind of want to do? And I was thinking it'd be super fun to do like straight up something like really cool mythological. And I was thinking I kind of want to paint our girl Medusa, the Medusa. She's always a fantastic Greek mythological figure. Because then I get to paint like, a cool lady and like cool snakes and stuff. um, and just because I feel like it, there's not much more than it's not that deep. um, so I gathered some references from friends. This is a friend of mine that we did a photo shoot a couple of years back. Some references from some 3D programs. I've been using 360 Anatomy, which is now defunct, but they had some really good like 3D programs that allowed you to take like their poses, especially for the women, are really zany. They're all like this, and you're like, what do I do with this? But when they're just standing still, it's great for just general lighting. And just a bunch of other images to kind of inspire, to kind of inform, so that I'm not kind of aiming, painting without any kind of sort of direction. Also question John if people are commenting via YouTube or via Proko.com, because maybe you have a question that you really want to like ask, but I'm not seeing it, and that would suck for everybody. I don't know, you tell me. Anyhow, so I was just kind of thinking about what kind of mood do I want? What kind of feeling do I want? And I usually have a stage early on where I just kind of start developing and kind of doodling, uh, you know, these images, like what kind of attitude I want to get from this. And my doodles usually start out like very loose, very just trying to get an initial thought here, trying to get, figuring it out. What is it that I'm looking at? And this was before I brought in the picture. I knew that I wanted something where like good old Medusa is kind of looking upwards at us, judging us. Maybe she'll have like snake eyes. Bow, yeah. Uh, yes. Sorry. I live close to the street, so you're gonna hear the motorcycles. What happens in the city. Uh oh, okay. Oh my goodness. Oh, I'm seeing questions. Oh, these questions are really long. All right, and Nivru, if you're asking questions, make it short so I don't have to read a massive paragraph while I'm trying to do this. I'll check them out in a second. Um, so basically, I'm trying to try to feel that initial look, and I'll do these kinds of things quite often. I kind of like to call them like the doodle stage, where I'm kind of just doodling around and trying to figure out, what kind of things I want, what kind of like composition is going to be happening, and so and so. And, I will play around. This is where I get crazy with it. And I thought, this is really cool. Okay, I kind of feel this. Like if the heads were to, the snake, the snake cluster would feel like some kind of like Edwardian type of like hairstyle. That would actually be that. I think that would work out really fun. Um, Let me see. And so I was thinking about it, and I'm like, maybe I'll turn her, you know, do the classic, like she's got the skin of a human, but the green of like a snake. Or maybe the snakes aren't green. Maybe they're a little bit, more blue. And we kind of have like a little bit of that scales coming over there. But then I thought, I've seen that a million times. And I love how sculptures look. I love like the idea of like seeing like gold and things like that. And then I thought, yo, why don't we turn this? Rather, she turned herself in stone and her snakes are all golden, almost like a statue. And then I thought, hey, that sounds pretty cool. I don't know if there's I think I've seen it in a movie, but I don't know if that's accurate to the, to the legend. But who cares? Because that's part of it. So that's the direction that we're gonna go in today. We're going to be doing stone Medusa, a stone Medusa. I shouldn't call her Medusa. That's horrible. All right, but we do have some of your questions. Abram Mendoza and Marcos Vian, who wrote me paragraphs. We'll get started on the painting right away, but let's get these questions out of the way real quick. And they are massive questions. So, hey, Karla, thanks for being part of the LBX Proko event. You got it. My question is regarding the get good is when you're ready for work. Huh? Did you in your experience as a competent, say, intermediate level artist search for work before you got good, like MTG level good, say lesser known book cover illustrations and the like, or did you incubate until AA couldn't deny you? I'm especially speaking to jobs that mention entry level 2 to 5 years experience. Oh, there's no like hyperbolic chamber DBC style that you enter and then you just kind of leave and then you're like, aha, the jobs are here. Some people come from really wealthy places and can do that, yeah, but I had to make a living, so I was always looking for jobs. Even when I wasn't at a get good stage, I actually started working when I was 17. I There were local video game companies that I could go to, and I was basically just working with them. And I never quite, I did take about a year to study at the atelier. And even then I was still doing lots of freelance to kind of maintain that, try and get as much money as I could. So there was never like hey, like you can only be this level to enter, to be a working artist. Some of the bigger jobs, yeah, but there was always a need for art, however big or small, so you can always find a lot of like independent authors or game company or indie game companies or even smaller venues in which are looking for work, and nothing was ever, just take the work, early on. Hope that answers questions. I'm gonna take just these three and then we'll get started. We're gonna do some painting. Marcos Vian, hi Karla. Thank you for sharing your knowledge with us. So my question is, what kind of studios, books, tutorials do you think are best for someone who wants to start painting with oils? Ooh, an oily question. I started painting on digital a year ago, and all my efforts go to achieve a traditional effect in my work. But I think I would be more successful if I learned a real thing. Actually, I find it really intimidating. Thank you. I found it extremely intimidating too, especially because it's pricey as hell. I would say Alla Prima by Richard Smith is an excellent, excellent book on how to oil paint in general. Look at Sargent Notes on oil painting online. They're free, and it gives you kind of an idea how he approached oil painting. That actually helped me a lot. He hardly used any mediums. He used to just like paint chunky straight off. I would say just the best thing that you could just do is research like Sorn's limited palette. That way you're not having to spend so much money on a bunch of oil paints, and just like start with a few basic colors. That way you start getting the feel for it. I would suggest if you have the money, the best things to do when you're working on oils, if you're looking for like really good tools, are brushes. Spend money in your brushes and your surfaces. The paints, you can, they're not that, like Rembrandt is good. They're very buttery. I like them. But like the brushes, you need good quality brushes. Blick has a super cheap Utrecht style brush. It's like a, hold on, I'm gonna go get one. They look like this. So they're just like they have like either a green or like a yellow band or something like that. And these are Utrecht style, and they're supposed to be like the student quality. They're really cheap. They're great. Like these like held me up for a long time. Once you're ready to graduate and have the funds to it, I would say like definitely hit up rosemary brushes. Those are the ones that I like a lot. Yeah, I highly recommend rosemary. And by the way, really quickly, I'm going to turn this into black and white so that the color doesn't influence me, because she's going to be made out of stone. Blam! Uh, so yeah, I would definitely think of, just like general, rosemary brushes are really good. And then you kind of start experimenting to what feels right. You can start with like bristle brushes. You can start with like, softer brushes and stuff like that. And then the other thing that you should spend time, really get money on is like a good surface, like a good, like, nice surface, will help you paint. Like honestly, that will really, really change things for you. I like New Tradition panels, the L600 series. That they're just beautiful. They're like so nice. They work really well. I love it. Um and then the other thing I would say is just like make sure that you have good light in your studio. For so long I thought that like I couldn't get oils and I was really bad at it, but really it's just that like my easel and the canvas and my palette had two different light sources, so I could never get the values right. And it wasn't until I was working on this like massive space that had great lighting, and I'm like, oh, I'm like really digging oil painting today, and I'm like, oh my goodness, it's not that like I just didn't know that I couldn't see what I was working on. What? So that became kind of funny. I'm just gonna start from scratch, honestly. So hopefully that helps out. But yeah, Arthur Henrique. What's the most important thing to get a good likeness in a portrait? All right, so likenesses in portraits. So that can be pretty tricky. That in itself is its own thing, honestly. Actually, I'm gonna get rid of these lines because they're extremely distracting. And I'm just gonna go ahead and start kind of laying down some shapes. We're gonna start with laying down the shapes. We'll add the shadows and all the stuff in a second, but we're just gonna start up with our main like face shape. And I don't, by the way, I always have like so many different ways and so many different methods in which I like to start paintings. And they're always changing. I'm always just changing how I start, just because like it keeps it nice and fresh in my perspective. But the thing about getting accuracy in portraiture, and I'm not looking for accuracy today because accuracy can take time. Um, it can be really tricky, especially when you're, for example, let's say you're working on a feature film, a live action, and the studio's like, we need you to capture this actor's likenesses, otherwise we're not going to get approval. There's just like a million and one things to why you need to, get that likeness ready. It's really all just about getting like the the relationships between like the forehead and the cheeks and the eyes and the very small differences of the shapes as accurately as possible. And also just kind of like analyzing the figure that you're looking at. For example, if I were to, completely follow my reference, right? And be just like, yo, I really need this reference to just be as like accurate as possible. I'm What am I doing? What am I doing? What am I doing? If I want it to have the reference be as accurate as possible, and that my likeness feels correct, then I would like take very special care in ensuring that I got this part correct and that it made that exact shape. Really quickly, I always like to see birds in eyebrows, and I'll show you why. You see this right here? I see like a weird flamingo. Let's see if you see the flamingo. Oh, damn. Is this the flamingo? Oh, it is. Look at that. Look at that. Just like hanging out. Like, so it's one of those things that it's almost like seeing shapes of cloud, shapes in clouds. Like, you're just like, oh, that kind of looks like a rabbit. And it's doing that and trying to be as accurate as possible to those shapes while you're doing, while you're working with the actor. So hopefully that answers your question. I've been struggling with doubt a lot. Oh my goodness. Is talent a big factor in getting better at drawing? Is practice and consistency alone enough? I've heard it be described that talent is approximately 5% what it of the thing that will help you in being an artist. Like that is the extent of it. And I've seen extraordinarily talented folk who just didn't care. They relied on their talent or quote unquote talent and get passed by the person who works really hard. I think one of the biggest issues that you'll find in art is that people tend to really, really, really associate their artwork with themselves and the value of themselves as a person. And I think like I mean, I used to do that too. And I think that's one of the most damaging things. Like, whoa. I think that's one of the most, the city is wild today. But I think that's like one of the most damaging things an artist can do to themselves. because it doesn't give you room for failure. That doesn't give you room for experimentation. That means that you have to, no matter what, be like as like just perfect. And that's just unrealistic, especially if you're like, starting out. And I think also a lot of people have a um very like I remember a long time ago I got into a discussion. It was kind of sad, with someone on Twitter about how they've been working to being an artist for like a year and they didn't feel like they'd gotten anything. You just have to be like, this isn't like a thing that you get in a year. This is a thing that you get in 5 years, in 10 years. Like, it takes decades to be able to get this right. Does Medusa have years? Damn, that's a good question. I don't know. I mean, does she? We'll try. We'll give her years. Screw it. For now, we'll take him out if we don't. This is digital, so we don't need to worry about it too much. Um, so yeah, I think the ears are important so I can get the relationships of the face right, right? Because she's kind of had her head kind of tilted upwards, and we're just gonna want to get it right, man. We want to get it right. I'm kind of using a mixture of these two, an actual model and then a 3D model to kind of get they both have a feeling I'm looking for. Um, but yeah, I don't know what I was talking about. Remember, painting and drawing at the same time is kind of like drunk driving. Don't judge me. But yeah, I think just like, well, resiliency is like the most important thing for the arts, honestly. Like, it will take time, it will be hard, it will be very enjoyable as well. It'll be all these things. And but more so than anything, it will take time. It doesn't happen overnight. And I think it gets like even more stressful when you see everybody be so successful like online. It's almost like seeing like, when people used to post like their sweet vacation pictures on Instagram and people would be like, well, I want to travel too. Why am I not as successful? I think it's very similar. You tend to only see the successes of people and you don't ever get to see like how long it took them to get to that spot or how many failures it took them to get to that spot. And that's really important. Anyway, let's see. Karla, love your work. Thank you, Sean Furby. Furby? Cute. When you were transitioning from a gallery painter to more of a concept artist illustration, how did you transition your traditional skills into digital? I actually transitioned from concept artist to a gallery painter and never really kind of lived in both worlds. Mm. I don't really in fact I've never the gallery scene is extremely hard to make a living in. Like, galleries will take about 50% of the work that, your money, which is, you get, they do offer certain services, but it's not easy, especially because you can't start your prices too high up. So it becomes really tricky. Um, so yeah, I wouldn't say I'm a gallery artist per se. Uh, but I would say how my traditional skills transition into digital, because I did originally start. Well, I guess technically I did start with like watercolors and acrylics was the thing I used to do. But we're talking back when I was like a teenager, bro. So I was really into just I loved, like, I found out about social media. I mean, not social media. I found out about digital painting when I was like a teenager, and I'm like, oh my god, this is so cool. So my beautiful parents spent forever trying to save money to get me a tablet. And by the way, I'm talking a lot of stories and stuff, but I do want to take a quick moment I'd say I don't often start my paintings this way. But whenever I do, it's always really fun. Starting your painting this way. I'm only starting this way just because I know the proportions of the face that I want, and I'm following them fairly closely to here as well. Um, but it's one of those things where it's like, I am spending a bit too long on some of these features and lights and shadows like that. I don't know if I'd recommend it. Like, it'd be much easier to just like very quickly, just do like a quick drawing and ensure that my proportions are correct. In fact, I am going to use this. Booyah. Um, I felt like, this oh, that's horrible. This kind of just gives it a very almost like you're dusting the features off a character. And it's just fun. I just wanted to have fun with it. All right. Yeah, I think one of the things that like traditional well, first and foremost, I was trained how to do digital paintings at an atelier. So that's where I learned the bulk of my digital. Like that's where I really learned to master digital painting, quote unquote master, because I mean, but at least master the tools. Like get to know the tools enough for me to understand it, right? I don't want her to be too happy. Flipped it really quick. The flip it's looking good. Not a problem. She's looking a little too serene right now, so at some point I'm probably gonna make her a little bit more intense. I want a bit of intensity in her gaze. I'm just getting the features down, but like she's a little bit too like, haha, oh hi. No, I want an intensity here that I'm kind of missing right now. But yeah, now in terms of like traditional skills, how they can help your digital skills, like with traditional, you have to really think about what you're painting, because if you make one wrong brush move, right, one wrong move, you're screwed, man. Like you have to scrape everything. You have to kind of just go ahead and it's a pain in the butt. Versus with digital, you can always undo forever. And there are benefits to that for sure. But one of the things that Elise used to do to me too when I was like in digital realms for too long is that it felt like I was just consistently um not, focusing on what I was doing. One of the keys to painting is being intentional, right? Like really thinking each brushstroke as well as you can, which is why doing this isn't the easiest thing in the world. Talking as much as I'm talking right now, is normally I'd just be focusing, right? Normally I'd just be really, really taking the time to get these shapes right, to make sure that things were looking good. Maybe adding also, kind of want to add some of these shapes into this. These are some of the earlier shapes that I was like, woo! I kind of want to add them here, just so that I have that, so that I remember that this is happening. Oh, that's going to be really fun too. What was I saying again? Oh yeah. Traditionals. So I think it's just one of those things that like traditional painting just gives you a certain attentiveness, a certain focus. And part of painting well is really analyzing each brushstroke. Why? Why does this need to be there? Why do I need this particular painting, you know, this brush mark. Oh, you need this brush mark because, like, for example, right here, if I were to say what the light of my, you know, lady is kind of coming up from above, let's do a light grid. Sometimes I do those. You know, you have a perspective grid. You can also get yourself a light grid. And it seems like the light is kind of coming this way a little bit, right? Like a top type of light. Then I'm going to go ahead and lower it. And then by doing that, you could kind of just remember or imagine like, oh, the light's hitting it. So clearly this part right here is getting a little bit more light. This part right here is probably going to get a little bit more shadow. Obviously, once we start getting into the snakes that are up here, then that means we're going to have a cast shadow over here. And you kind of start analyzing your painting that way. Especially if you're like really paying attention to what you're doing. And traditional painting can help you with that because you can't erase it. It's forever. You're screwed. Anyway, let's keep going. So we kind of are starting to have a bit of a base here. And I'm starting to, I think this is super fun. This is pretty enjoyable. And I'm liking to what it's going to be doing. Like I'm starting to put down some of those colors. Got a very 1950s Marilyn Monroe vibe. I don't know if I'm going for that vibe. I don't know if I dig it. I don't know. We'll see. Ah, don't you just love it when a brushstroke you do like two simple little things? Here's light, here's dark, and boom, it works. It is a fantastical, magical thing. Hi mom. Next Twitch stream. Wait, okay, for starters, I'm not your goddamn mom. At most I'd be like your cool aunt. I just want to be everyone's cool auntie, okay? None of that mom shit. I don't even have kids, my man. Well, I have my cat. Damn. I'm kind of taking a pause on Twitch, to be honest. Some of it is work. Some of it is trying to figure out what's a good balance for me. You know, what works for me. Streaming was really fun, but it was also really demanding. And I don't know if I want that. You know, I don't know. Like I was thinking for a while, maybe I should have like a YouTube channel, you know, and like do it that way. Then for I'm like, maybe I should just do like a blog. You know, blog. What? Those exist? What the hell? Yeah. I don't know just yet. I just need time. I think mostly than anything, I'm just really busy. But I do miss it. I just again I'm not sure if I'm coming back anytime soon, which is why there's a couple people I've tried to get Twitch to be like, hey, don't have anybody pay anything. I'm not doing anything right now, but Twitch won't let me. So if you that's a reminder to take a break. I have a little reminder thingy. It's important. So yeah, I think let's take our first little break, right? Let's just stretch out. And oh, it's streaming. Okay, there we go. It screams at me if you touch the screen. So yeah, I think eventually I'll come back. I think maybe, but just maybe not perhaps in Twitch form. Maybe it'll be a YouTube channel. Maybe it'll be all other kinds of things. But thank you, Frederick. Much hugs anyway. I do miss the community aspect of it. How do you deal with imposter syndrome? Everybody has imposter syndrome. It's almost impossible not to have it. But I think for me, regret is a far bigger fear for me than like the question of if I'm capable of doing anything. Because everybody has that. Like, as soon as something big is about to happen or anything of that nature, then I'm just like, oh my goodness. You know, like like I sometimes, like, for example, for the first light box, they asked me alongside Ian McKegg to do the opening speech. I was like, oh my God, that is quite a lot. Damn, Bobby, and that was very kind of them. But I'm not gonna lie, there was a part of me that felt extremely worried about that, like it's a big honor. And I'm not sure I was ready for it. In fact, I was pretty, freaked out about it for most of the time. But it became one of those things where it's like I knew that if I didn't do it, I'd regret it far more than I would have if I had just like said no or said that I wasn't capable or wasn't worthy. So I think it's just kind of like you can have your imposter syndrome. I think everybody has it, but it's understanding the things that it will take away from you if you listen to it too much, like all the joys that it will take. I think that's at least how I deal with it. Some people deal with it in different forms. I also think like artists are very tend to be very, oh, I might do this. Ooh, like a statue. I don't know if that's how we're gonna do it, but we'll see. We'll see. We're just kind of winging this, honestly. Because we're just trying to make it one, a portrait, and two, mythological. And we're getting mythological here. So yeah, I don't know if that answers your question. I hope it does. Let's see. I missed one. Patrick Jones. Hey Karla, do you prefer complete silence when working to stay in the zone? Sometimes. It really depends on what I'm doing. If it's sometimes when I'm painting in oils, it's extremely demanding. It's another reason why doing streams is really hard, because oil painting is really demanding on the brain, and sometimes I just couldn't like get it was really hard to work on, oils and like talk to people at the same time. Like it's kind of hard to talk to people as I'm even painting this right now. So yeah, but sometimes you need silence. When I'm doing very intensive, very let's name this the light layer. When I'm doing very intensive kind of stuff, that's when I do get a little I do need that quiet. It is helpful. Okay, we're starting to kind of get a nice base for this, right? We're starting to really, there's some cool stuff that's happening. There's some stuff that I think needs to be a little bit better. Like, I kind of really want to get either a nonchalant, I don't care face, or a holy crap, this is scary. Ooh, wait, golden eyes. Yeah, that's what we're doing because color harmony, baby. But not those. We need to develop that just ever so slightly better. I think I'm kind of sort of getting her features with most of her lighting. Also, it would be interesting to see a lighting kind of similar like that. Let's see what that looks like really quick. And that's the fun part of digital, right? You can just do cool stuff. That could work. That's interesting. Mysterious, alluring, interesting. Do I like it? I don't know. Let's see. Let's find out. It's kind of cool looking, right? And then all of this could be. That is kind of cool. I'm not gonna say no. Let's do a multiply layer really quick. Oh Jesus, and lower that just a bit so we can get some of that. I don't know. I don't know if I like it. We can always change it later though. So yeah, we'll just keep like the lighting of the top one and just the features of this one. Yeah. Saleya. Hey Karla, huge oily fan. Oh, I was wondering if you ever face uncertainty or doubt when painting. If so, how do you go about battling that? Absolutely, all the time. Every painting is, the way that I kind of see it is like every painting is kind of like a puzzle, right? It's a visual puzzle. I solve visual puzzles through practice and knowledge. If you're painting something and it doesn't quite click, ask yourself, do you know what you're painting? Do you know, like, is that something that you feel confident in? If the answer to that is yes, I do, I'm going to zoom in on this just ever so slightly so I can get some of the features a little bit better. If the answer to your question is yes, absolutely, I know everything about this painting, I know exactly what I'm doing, then wonderful. But what if it's still not clicking? Then that's just practice. Then that just means that you haven't painted that before. And that's important, like practice. Sometimes I think that's one of the more frustrating things when you try to tell students, there's like, look, I'm sorry, there's no shortcuts. Sometimes it really is just, there we go, a slight pissed offness. I need to push that I'm angry kind of look a little bit more, maybe not too much. There you go. Getting there. It's getting there. Yes. So yeah, I think it can be really frustrating for students, right? Because you want like that instant, it's not even an instant gratification because it takes time, but it's that validation that like all the hard work that you're putting into something, that it's working out for you. And it's extremely frustrating when it doesn't, right? It can be really frustrating when you're just like, I tried my best here and it still looks not great. Like, what is going on? Like, that's really frustrating. I decided that she doesn't have ears. As fun as ears are to paint, she does have probably a snake. There we go. We'll need to work on this shape. Yeah. All right, I'll continue your questions in a second, ladies and gentlemen. Ladies and gentlemen. There we go. Let's find it. This has a cast shadow. All right, let's see what you got. Kim Cooper, what canvas size do you make your paintings in Photoshop? I try to make it so that my widest painting, the smallest side is no smaller than like 3,000, and the biggest size, like, yeah, I think about 3,000. Usually my biggest size tend to be about 5,000. It took me forever to get a computer that could handle that, because for most of my life, all of the stuff is basically just like, oh yeah, she needs to have like way bigger, like scary eyes.
Hey.
Yeah, what's up? You're back.
I'm back. Yes.
You want to introduce yourself really quick?
Hey guys, I'm John. If you've been following the Lightbox streams today, I've been like coordinating and doing all of that stuff, so glad to be here. Wanted to fill you in on a couple things.
Ooh.
Yeah, so I ran a poll as soon as you were like, does Medusa have ears or not? 78% say yes.
Oh shit.
And 22% say no. It's okay though.
How about this? 1 ear.
There you go. Compromise.
Compromise. Just like, well,
there's the compromise right there. And then
I'm just a strong believer in democracy,
Oh, absolutely. There you go. And then in YouTube chat too, I thought was also funny. Someone asked what conditioner Medusa uses, and we got two answers. One was Johnson and Johnson, which I thought was pretty good.
No.
Right?
No.
No?
It
other
is
one,
good. It is good. It's just it hurts.
the other one was head and 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 shoulders, which I thought was also very good. So kudos to you guys. You guys are creative.
Oh my god.
Oh man.
That is incredible. That both nourishes and hurts my soul at the same time. Like I can't quite.
Also, someone is saying don't forget to make the eyes glow. I don't know if you were going to make the eyes glow or not, but
oh yeah. No, it's don't you worry, Mr. Art Director. I got you.
There you go. Oh man.
We got an art director in the crowd for sure.
Oh.
Yeah, no. We got this. Don't worry about it. We're doing it.
Nice.
I'm
The
just
people
trying.
have spoken.
The people have indeed spoken, and oh my goodness, the head and head and head that hurts.
It killed me. I was as soon as I saw that, I was like, that's great.
Yeah, that is quite good. So how's chat looking? How's those YouTubers? I don't know. I took it was a little tricky to answer questions because some of the
I figured I'd get on and just feed you questions this way. That way you can focus on the painting.
I think.
Let's see. Where did you end off? Can you at least? Did you end off on?
I ended off on Kim Cooper.
Kim Cooper. Okay, so read that one.
Yeah, no, I already finished.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So Katie asks, "Will you ever do a tutorial about how you approach your graphite work? I'm in love with your traditional work on the sketchbooks."
God, wow! No one's ever really asked me that one. I mean, I wasn't planning to, but if there's interest.
Someone's interested. There you
Someone is interested. Oh my god.
That'll be the next poll we'd run on.
Remember, just really quick, remember, she's made out of stone herself. So we want to start bringing in some of that, like, cool Marvel stuff going on in here. Not superheroes, just Marvel stuff. But yeah, interesting. I didn't know there was such.
Well, if you start a YouTube channel, right?
Yeah, that's true.
There you go. What would you call your YouTube channel?
Oh my goodness, I don't know just yet. Something not serious. It's tempting to go for oily fans because that really resonated with a lot of people when I was streaming. So it would be really tempting to do that. But I think then I'd be, then I wouldn't be able to do things like, I mean, I guess I would. Like I could do like graphite and stuff like that. But I'd be just like, most of it is oils, because it's oily fans.
Yeah.
Kind of hard to. We'll see. I don't know. Maybe people can workshop it. Maybe you guys can help out.
There you go. Let's if you're on YouTube right now, you can put your your ideas for Karla's YouTube channel.
Yeah.
For naming it.
It's the K Zone, the K Spot, K and Friends,
K and Friends.
But then that means I have to bring people over. And what if I want to be really antisocial?
That's true. Yeah. You don't want to box yourself in.
Yeah, no, for sure. All right. I'm getting to a point where I think I want to just like flatten all of this, or at least flatten all of her. Oh, no, I did it wrong. Just grab all these layers right here, group them, duplicate it, and then flatten it, because I want to start kind of getting new views here. I want to see where I can improve this. There you go. Sorry, it is important to, not mess it up. I don't want to mess up. I don't want this to be not good. All right, I'm just adjusting something really quick. All right, let's continue here.
Yeah, just let me know when you're ready for another question.
Oh, I'm ready.
Okay. Uchiyo wants to know, how do you study and exercise fundamentals during your week?
During my week? My
During
week's
your
so
week.
busy. I don't do that many studies, man.
Answer is she does not.
I don't. I mean, there used to be a time, when I was a student, that I actually used to do so many studies all the time. But that has not been my reality for quite a long time, just because, I'm a working professional. I have a lot of things that need to be done and a lot of paintings that need to be done. So what I try to do, when you're really busy, is try and make sure that like I'm trying to learn as much as I can with every painting that I do. So like, like right now I'm like staring, these are my two main references, but I also have other references on like how, just textures of like, like this right here, like textures of how this like, this, that kind of stone gets a little bit of that shine, that you get in there, and how does that work? And I'm keeping that little shine right there. And so that's basically what I do most of the time, just like, so I don't have time. But when I used to have a lot more time and life was a lot more simpler, I used to do a lot of plein air every week. I would go out and paint and it's something I really want to get back into because it's a practice that I loved tremendously. Just like getting into plein air and being outside and painting what I see, do life drawing, things like that. I used to do master studies quite often. That's the other thing. Statues don't really get to have. All right, we're gonna have to do a Google's. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's see. Let's do a new Google's. There we go. Yay! I was like so nervous. I'm like, please don't show anything that I'm not supposed to see. In fact, I'm gonna put it outside screen just in case.
Yeah.
Marble statue head. I'm just gonna take a look at like, start getting a better references for like a marble statue type of situation here. Um Here, let's bring him upward. This is safe. This is safe.
There we
We're
go.
good. We are fine. Some of these are so good. Look at this chunky boy.
Oh, that's cool.
He's a chunk boy for sure. Sorry, that's so mean to say. He's a beautiful boy. Don't let anybody tell you otherwise. There's some really great references right here. And oof, look at this one. Look at that.
Nice.
That is not exactly what I'm looking for because I kind of want something that gives me the same face. Cool. Perfect. So I'm always bringing in new references and things as like my mood changes. It's like, the needs of my painting evolve. And I'm going to be focusing on her for quite a while because it's still all about the portrait, right? Like the snakes are fun. If we get to them, it's super great. I'm really happy, but it's not something that I must get because I'm more interested in making sure that the the face in itself feels right. Anyway, what was I talking about?
You were talking about the fundamentals during your week.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, so I used to do, yeah, again, I used to do like when I was working at like, ILM. I did used to like to do a lot of film studies is one of the things that I used to do a lot. Used to do a lot of you could get film studies, we'd get trying to sorry, I'm also trying to get these eyes just right. But I think the problem is sometimes I will flip it this way. I did used to And I think, film studies were really helpful to me. And just like doing like super quick, like every like 15 minutes. Here, I'm gonna stop that because the timer is very good and healthy for you to like not time yourself, but it's not very good for a demo. um yeah, I would say like film studies were very helpful. Master studies were super helpful. I'm looking for a specific eye that I'm not quite just yet. I'm gonna go look really quickly and see if I can get it. And I know exactly the character that does it. Let me see. Bride of Frankenstein. It's like this like one thing where her head's up and she's like, "Rah!"
Oh, cool.
And I'm trying to see, yes, so look like that. Come on, give me one that's closer. Give me one that is closer. Give it to
Karla,
me.
do you have a favorite horror movie?
I'm not big into horror
Oh,
movies.
you're not?
No, but it depends on the horror movie. Like, I like things that are a little bit darker for sure. Like I like Pan's Labyrinth, things from Guillermo del Toro. I'm always just down with. Um, Actual horror movies though, it just depends. Like I see the value in them, like, and I see like how they can be really good, like allegories for like emotion and traumas and things like that. But I can never take them seriously. Like for example, the Babadook. No, yeah, I'm dead serious. Like the Babadook. Uh, it was really scary for me until like you hear the Babadook, and might be a little spoilery, but when you hear the Babadook go Babadook, you're just like, this is a Star Wars Muppet, and like I couldn't take it seriously anymore. I was just like Babadookie, and I was like, no, that's it. This is no longer scary to me. Um, this is almost that. There it is. Ah, look at this.
Nice.
This is. We'll try and see if we can capture that kind of eyes. Like, and I would go look forever to see if I could find that kind of eye, because that's a specific mood. That is like it's tricky. You want to capture it. Let's work on the eyes here really quick. Uh, but yeah, I don't know. Like for example, It Follows. I was just like, so I've seen my fair share of horror movies. My boyfriend really likes them.
Mhm.
But like my It Follows, like I was just angry the whole time because
Oh,
I'm
why were
just
you
like,
angry?
because it didn't make sense. I'm like, why didn't like the survivors just made like a fucking Facebook? I'm sorry, just made like a, sorry,
Oh,
to me.
that's it. We just got demonetized.
I'm so sorry. No. Why don't the see? This is why I don't get it. It makes me angry. But why don't the survivors just like make like a Facebook group or something and say, "Hey, it's following me this week. I'm going to be in like Antarctica or like the Bahamas for a while. Like go on the opposite side of the country. It's walking the whole way, so like it's gonna take a while." And then like when like it's sort of spotted, or like you were just like, you give it a time, like you work with people, like how long does it take for it to get here? Okay, well then all right, cool, like, hey man, it took me about like a week or so to get here. Cool. And they all just kind of sleep with each other, right? Like it just made me mad. It just didn't make sense to me.
So were you
And
just yelling at the screen the entire time?
I was it's unbelievable. It's like it doesn't make sense for me. Like,
Oh man. Did they even have social media though?
yeah,
They did. I thought they had like weird technology in that
was
in
it?
that
I don't
movie,
know.
right? I
I
thought they
don't
had like a
remember.
shell phone or something. I don't know.
Well, I don't. But you know what? Like, screw it. They had as long as you have like a form
Yeah,
of communication, because you know exactly who has it. So so I was very upset by that. Oh gosh, it's not Midsommar, it's the other one. Uh, that one just gave me the creeps. That one just got really weird. really quick.
Hereditary? Is that what you're thinking of?
Hereditary, yeah.
Yeah.
Hereditary was just like, this is awkward. Like it actually was way more interesting to me when it was like, man, I'm so sorry. I'm like probably spoiling a lot of stuff for people. But like it was more interesting to me when it was like, oh, like this is the mom going crazy? But then when it went like crazy, like, you know, like, blah, 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 like it's just like there's no other way to describe it. It just got like
Yeah.
like, oh, this is crazy supernatural. Blah, 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 blah. And I was just like, I'm bored. I'm very cynical for these movies. I'm sorry.
Oh man. So what do you do during Halloween? You just like play video games?
I celebrate my birthday.
Oh, when's your birthday?
Halloween.
Oh, it's actually Halloween?
Yeah, I was born on Halloween.
Oh, that's crazy. Oh man.
Yeah. No.
Wait, so you were born on Halloween and you hate horror movies? I feel like that.
It's not that I hate them. I just think they're kind of silly.
Oh man. Okay. Interesting.
You know, I'm kind of like Vane. I was born in the darkness, you know? Like
That's cool. My wife was born like mid-October, so she loves Halloween. But wow, being born on Halloween, that's special.
Oh, I like.
Do you get like cool witch powers every Halloween, or?
I mean, gosh, I hope so.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool. Maybe I'm just not using them. Hold on, I want to experiment some cool lighting. Do I want that? Do I want that? Maybe. It's interesting. Yeah, I kind of do. Yeah, screw it. Let's change the lighting.
That's cool.
Let's not worry about it. Let's just change the lighting. Sometimes you'll find, you know, this is why like you want to have good reference, but you don't want to be a slave to it, right? Like if I was following these ladies right here, I wouldn't have like been like, I'm going to change the lighting very drastically. But now that I have this thing right here, I actually really love the way that the shadows are around it. You can use a darken layer really quick there to kind of go ahead. And now that we've kind of changed it a bit too, and it's a bit more of an intense, it's definitely more intense lighting situation. Now we're going to bring in a little bit, you know, more interesting shadows. And then we can do what films like to do and do like a little bit of a rim light, right?
Nice.
But we'll bring that in later. I like it that you went nice, and I'm like, yeah, I'm getting rid of it.
Just teasing it. It's a
little, teaser. Yeah, it's a little teaser.
Oh man, are you ready for another question?
Yeah, let's do it.
Let's see. Hi, Karla. I love seeing your oil work in your moleskin sketchbook on Instagram. How do you prepare your paper to handle the paint?
Oh, it's called GAC 100.
GAC 100.
Mm-hmm. Okay. And you do a couple of. Your first coat is kind of like GAC, but with a little bit of. By the way, really quickly, the lighting has now changed to be more intense. This is called more Rembrandt style lighting, at least in film. So a lot of different things have changed. For example, now this snakes over here get a little bit more love. Over here, it's gotten a bit more intense just because of that intense shadow. Now we have another snake over here. Snakes everywhere. I don't know if I like the positioning of that snake. There we go. But yeah, GAC 100, the first coat's going to be a little bit on the, you know, 50-50 water and 50-50, yeah, there we go. 50-50 water and the other 50% GAC because you don't want it to, you don't want it to. Oh, I'm messing up the way that I'm having my layers, but that's okay. You don't want it to like warp the page, so you want to give it a little bit of a second there. And then once it's like dry, then you can go in with heavier layers of GAC. I usually give about like a couple coatings, like maybe one or two, actually 3 to 4 coats to be more accurate. And it's really fantastic. I really do love GAC.
Oh, cool.
Yeah, it makes for a super slippy surface though.
Okay.
So do be mindful of that. But it is quite fun.
Cool. Okay. Let's see. Joseph Damazian wants to know, I struggle with developing a consistent workflow. Do you recommend doing a trial and error method or go through a mentorship training to help break through it?
Oh gosh. All of it?
All of the above.
There's no one way to gain anything. Like, right? Like maybe perhaps a mentorship might not work for you. Like what if like, someone's teaching you and that their way of working doesn't, quite click. Or maybe it might, or what if through, just like working it out, that's how you figure it out, and that's how like you figure out something really wonderful. So I think like it's hard to tell. Like you'll never know as an artist what's the thing that'll make your head click. You just go for it. The one thing I would say though is that go for the things that kind of scare you the most. Like if you are, hold on, I'm trying to, I think it's time I do this. If you are trying, and give me a second, I need to work on this really quickly as well, because I wanna give her, she's looking a bit too, and it's this part right here, she was looking a bit too like soft. I don't want no softness. Get it out of here. But you never quite know what will be the thing that will kind of resonate with you as an artist. You kind of have to go for it. And as I mentioned earlier, try and go for the things that scare you the most too. Like that usually is kind of like your weather vane, right? Like, is it scary for you? Like for me, for so long, perspective just didn't make sense for me. Like I tried really hard, but it was really like I didn't quite get perspective at all. And it actually like, I tried to stay away from it. I wouldn't do ooh, yes. There you go. Okay, hold on. That's interesting. Hold on, give me a second. I gotta follow my creepy. All right, I dig it. Creepy. Ooh, that's
cool.
that is cool and very creepy. There's a part of me that wants to do snake eyes, but that might be too rock and roll for right now. We'll see. Hey everybody, welcome to Mythological Horror Portrait. Here I am like, ooh, horror paintings, can't do it, too scary. No, actually, I actually really love painting horror things, strangely enough. But I don't get called to do much horror in my work. But yeah, oh boy, what was I saying? I'm sorry, I get distracted, but I'm also painting, so it's part of it.
Yeah, that's better than I can do. Like I would have a very hard time answering art questions that I'm not qualified to answer and paint at the same time. So the fact that you're doing both is pretty impressive.
Oh, thank you. I'm
Yeah.
trying my best.
Yeah, no, just to go along with like the perspective, we had Peter Hahn on the channel yesterday, and it just blows my mind how he can just sit down and just draw things in perspective.
Oh,
And same with
yes,
Kim
yes.
Jong-gi too. I look at both of them and I'm like, I don't know how you got to that level.
Yeah.
Um,
So here's the thing too. So yeah, now I remember what. Thank you for that. Now I
Yeah.
remember where we were at. So one of the things that was crazy is like when I actually learned perspective, I was like, oh wait, this isn't that like scary. I can do this, and it opened up a whole new venue for me. Like now I was finally able to do like actually really cool environments or and spaces, and that opened up a whole new soup. It's like now I'm doing most of the work that I'm doing in Marvel is actually keyframes, not so much. I do character design still, but most of the stuff that they call me for now is keyframes, and keyframes requires like environments, figures, story moments, and all that. And it's been an absolute joy for me. I love it. I love it. I love it. And I wouldn't have gotten to that point, right, had I been really frightened or had I not gone for the thing that scared me the most, which was perspective. So it's very useful to when you're trying to figure out how to improve or what's the next thing that you should improve upon, like seriously consider like what scares you. Ask an artist, what's the one thing that you're just like, oh goodness, like I have a really hard time with this, I kind of hate this. Go for that. That's the thing you need to do.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's see. Let's go to the next question. Martha Muniz, how can you distill the important elements from references and apply them to your own piece? I find I have the tendency to fall into copying the reference, and whenever I try to deviate, the piece starts failing on the technical side. Thank you, and I love your work. You're a huge inspiration to me.
Aw, so sweet. Oh boy, this is a tricky question because I literally have a workshop next week exactly for references and questions like that.
Do you want to promote that? You're free to promote that.
Oh, can I promote it?
You
Cool.
can. Yeah.
I have a workshop next week called The Reference Zone. It's on Schoolism. You can check it out. And we go at exactly the way that I approach references and how I make use of different elements from different references and how I make them work within my own painting. But I'll give you guys a little sneaky peeky. Without going into too much detail because Bobby will be like, Karla!
He's not watching the stream right now. Well, at least I hope not. But
damn, it's true. It's true.
oh, he's a busy guy. I can't even imagine what he's.
He is so busy. It's true. So one of the things, and I'm actually going to warm up the gray area here really quick. Let's see how I best do that. Maybe a color. So one of the that's too much, but we'll start there and then we'll tone it down. One of the things that I do a lot is I establish, certain kinds of rules in my painting. Like if I am working on, let me move. There we go. There we go. I just wanted to give it a little, just a bit, just a little. And now, actually, hold on. This is going to take me a second.
You're good.
I kind of want to try something out. Let me see. Okay, I want the lights to be kind of warm, right? There you go. I want the shadows. Are the shadows also warm? Yeah. Shadows need to be just a little bit warmer. And maybe perhaps the highlights need to be a little cool. That works a little bit better. Now we're going to bring this over and let's do a lighten. There we go. That's starting to feel a little bit better. And we'll erase these. Ah, yes. There we go. That's getting too
Nice.
yeah, that's feeling more like I want. I'll still probably need to go darker with some of these and change some of the colors a little bit more specifically. But anyway, so like for example, right here, my rules, and they can change, right? So you're not like, you're not bound to them. But right now, my basic rules is that like the light has to come from this way, right? And that I'm following the underlying anatomy of my character. Like that's really important to me. Um and then like I'm kind of really looking at all of these references that I have right now and just really really trying to pick the little bits and pieces and shapes of things that I see and applying them to my painting. Um, wondering if I should say anything else because this is literally if I didn't have that damn thing, I'd be like, this is how you're gonna speak. But maybe when I have like my blog, like or my maybe I'll do that in
Your
the future.
YouTube channel.
My
Just
my
spill all the
my
secrets.
I'll spill all the secrets, all the tea. Let's go.
Okay.
But yeah, I think it's just a matter of like take the information that is important to your work, know what you're looking for, right? Know that you are basically just like changing the information that you're seeing here and translating it to here and imagine how that works together. That's the best way that I can describe it without having going into the stuff that I'm doing for my workshop. Does that make sense? I don't know if that makes sense.
Hopefully it does.
Hopefully it does.
Let's see. Santiago Para wants to know, hey Karla, thanks for the live stream. My
Yeah.
question is, I've been building an illustration portfolio and I feel like every painting I do is tremendously better than the previous one. So I feel like the ones that I've done no longer represent my artistic level. Wow, he's leveling up quickly.
Yes.
So I find myself never satisfied with my whole body of work. Have you ever felt that way? Any advice on that would be helpful.
Oh gosh. Yeah, no, don't worry about that. Like I it's tricky, right? Because like that's just art. You improve with, every, especially if you really focus on trying to make sure that every painting that you do is as good as it can be. You're going to have like such rapid development, right? But then one of the issues with that is that you tend to like be like, oh no, I no longer think that this is the best work that I've done. But I think in terms of your portfolio, that's a good thing. That's like a good like issue to have. Like that's not something to worry about. I think that's just something that like it'll happen, and that just means that you have to update your portfolio and always update. Like whenever you're doing your portfolio, just make sure you always have like your best images. Your portfolio is defined by your worst painting, right? Because a person who is about to hire you will see that your worst painting and think, okay, this is what I should expect when it's not, when the artist is having a day off, like when it's not working out, like that's what I should expect. So like just make sure that you're proud of everything that you're working on or everything that you put in your portfolio. And then you should be good. And then you should be good.
Also, I haven't seen this question. What's like an average like portfolio size for an artist?
Oh, I recommend anywhere from 8 to, you know, 13, 14 pieces tops.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool.
You also don't want to like, people who know what they're looking at, they'll know like for after the first like couple paintings.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so yeah.
Okay.
You know, big eye, just
Let's see. Quickscopes wants to know, how do you design shadow shapes?
Oh gosh, that's a very specific question. That's dumping me. Like, how do you what? Like, how do I answer that?
You got 1 minute.
Oh my, what?
All the information about
No,
designing shadow shapes.
I hate it. Basically, the thing that you want to do is you're just thinking about mass, light, and shadow. Like, for example, how do I know that like over here I need something? Oh, it's because you have a snake up here, so it's going to cast a cat shadow. How do I know that like this part right here needs a little bit of a shadow? Because it kind of has it here and it kind of has it here, right? And then I play around with it. So like when it comes to like light and shadow, you're often just doing a lot of you're often just kind of playing around with that, based on like, you know, the form and the stuff that's going on, if that makes sense. That's a hard question though. That like stumps me. Like, wait, what? How do I hurt?
Let's see. Okay, next one. Alia Lasafi wants to know, hi, as a beginner, should one start with Photoshop because it is industry standard, or iPad with Procreate? I'm doing my own stuff now, but I'm worried that if I start working somewhere, I would need to learn how to use a Wacom pen tablet with different brushes and brush engine.
I mean, gosh, that's a super hard question because, like, I know that there's a contingency. Like, there are certain people that are masterful at like Procreate and don't never need Photoshop, and then they have that wonderful mobility, right? That's actually really desirable.
Also, does it really matter that much anymore? I feel like a lot of programs, like, you can export to Photoshop.
Yeah,
And, like,
I generally don't think that it matters industry style. Like, I've never been like, oh, a requirement for you is that you use Photoshop, because people use all kinds of programs.
yeah.
So like, just use, you know, it doesn't hurt to learn it, you know, but like,
So Marvel's never been like, hey, send us like the PSD file for
uh
later.
sometimes, but even with Procreate, you can download a PSV file.
Right. Okay.
So like, I think as long as like the program that you're using is usable with other programs that are industry standard, I think you're okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say that. Yeah, because I don't think it's a big deal. Do whatever you click best with, and because like if it'll help you learn the fundamentals, and if it'll help you learn the things that you need to learn, like you'll be okay. Like you'll learn it well, and then everything, once you just get the technique, let's say, and I doubt it, that in the future a client will be like, my goodness, I need you to know Photoshop more. What have you done? And then you're just like, all right, cool. Then pay me for me to learn it, and then you get paid to learn it, right? And then you spend like a, you know, day or two learning the ins and out, and then you do a painting. It'll be slow at first, but you got the technique down, so
Yeah, I don't feel like it would take that long to cross train.
No, it wouldn't. It really wouldn't. They're very similar.
Yeah.
Yeah, don't worry about it. This is stuff that you shouldn't worry about.
Let's see.
Just learn.
Chromie wants to know, Karla, heart emoji.
Oh hey!
What references work best for mythological images? What type of poses you search, and where you find them? I mean, you kind of saw that during the stream, hopefully. Google.
Yeah, mostly just Google.
I guess you kind of have to know in your mind
Pinterest.
like what you're searching for.
Yeah, you need to have a try to have as clear as an idea as you can of what it is that you want to make. I think that would be very helpful. Um, and then once you have that, then you can kind of like look for a while. Like especially if you have something very clear like in your head and you can't like take a picture of it or like do it yourself. Sometimes that happens. Then it becomes a little trickier, right? But most of the time I just Google, Pinterest, Etsy. I use actually Etsy quite a lot. Etsy, yeah, because you can get a lot of like really cool designs, and they're easy to just put on your on your computer.
So you pay for them, and then
no. Like you like for example, if I'm painting a pouch.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to find like, and you don't copy it either because that's not cool. Let's say you're trying to find the material, how the material reacts, and you find like a cool leather pouch that works really well. Then like you can use Etsy as like a place to gather that reference. Or at least I've used it in the past.
Interesting. I would never think Etsy.
Oh, and I'm very curious about where these are in the color range. They don't feel that like hot to me though. I'm just gonna go ahead. Sorry. Sometimes, by the way, there are two things I think are worth discussing.
Mm-hmm.
Number one, I turn this into a grayscale, and sometimes I do that when I'm being a bit overwhelmed with like what's going on with the colors, and I want to be able to just focus on the value. And you can do that by changing like your where is it? Your view and then proof setup, and change it to custom, and you're going to change it to dot gain 20%. And that means so that when you hit Control Y or and it rather than it switching to CMYK, which is kind of pointless for what I do, it turns into black and white. So then I'm able to just like look at the values as they are. And then the other one that I did there is I kind of like use color picker to kind of find where the hues and the values of something is. I don't usually directly translate it to the painting or directly put it into the painting, because I always find that like the color, when you color pick things, it always feels like a little off from where I want it. So I always do either minor adjustments or things like that. Just wanted to kind of note that really quick.
No, that's good. Let's see. Moving on to the next one, YZ. Wow, lots of heart emojis.
Whoa!
Hi, Miss Marvel.
I love
this one's a pink heart emoji.
Oh my goodness, I love it.
Lots of love going around.
Send me the love.
Wondering if you've tried other traditional mediums such as gouache. I find that when laid thickly, it's a little like oil.
Gouache is one of the few ones that I haven't had the chance to try out properly. And it kind of bums me out because it does look like a super fun.
That's the first YouTube video idea right there.
Oh,
Karla does gouache for the first time.
Oh my god, that would work. That actually would work really well.
Yeah.
Look at you guys and all the YouTubers' ideas. Like, damn.
There's a reason why I'm the marketing guy.
It's like, yeah, it's like you do the thing.
I think about marketing all the time.
Yeah, no, that's good. It's good to have that. I love it. Yeah.
Let's see. Frank Fair wants to know, miss your live streams. Oily fans rule. Thank you for the earlier advice a few months ago. I took a life drawing class and loved it and looking forward to more. Oh, so not a question, just a comment.
That's so sweet. I love it. Thank you.
No heart emoji, though. I'm disappointed. So, Frank Fair.
Damn, man. Your expectations are pretty high.
I mean, after the other two heart emojis in a row.
Yeah, I guess so.
You know, yeah. Let's see. Is there a way to salvage a mistake in a painting that is irreversible? Kim Hawkins. I guess if it's irreversible, no, right?
But it depends on your definition of irreversible.
I guess so.
Because there's
Yeah.
hardly any situation which that's the case.
I guess like
Like
traditional, right? It'd be harder to.
even
In
with
Photoshop, you could do it.
even with traditional, right? Like there's ways around it. There's ways around like for example in oils, if you mess it up, you just scrape it. Like you literally take like one of your like painting knives and scrape the paint away. Like that's what you do. That's how you get it done. If with like sometimes with watercolor, I've heard people like put like a little bit of bleach, or sometimes with ink they would kind of like put a paper on top and then change it. That was specifically more for like comics or any kind of printing situation. And then that would help. But let's make a couple changes here. So yeah, I think like that would help a lot. And so it just depends. But it's very rare. Like pencils you just erase. It's a pain in the ass for sure.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
I can't imagine like something that like would. The only ones that I would say that are a little trickier would be like pen and watercolor. But even then, I've heard of people like how they used to fix those mistakes was either they put like a tracing paper on top and redraw the area, and then they just kind of scan things together, or they just like kind of scrape the paper off or put like a little bit of bleach or things like that. Is what I've heard.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Excellent.
You can research it too. You can research those, ways to do that as well.
Let's see.
Go.
Inky Silver, do you have any advice about how to study a range of fundamentals? I'm self-teaching and I know that I need to work on figure drawing, for example. Would it be a bad idea to also work on painting or color and light as I'm working on more basic drawing skills?
Gosh, I mean, if you're really early on, like, the world is your oyster, I think it's just a matter of trying to remain focused so that you don't kind of go overdo it type of situation. Or you get too overwhelmed with a ton of information all at once. What I would say is like, God, but if you're starting really, really, really starting, that can be tricky, right? Like that's a tricky spot. That's not easy.
I would recommend Stan's Basics course, but it has not come out yet.
Oh,
It will come out eventually.
Yeah, you're right.
But
like,
gosh,
like any basics course. Oh wait, actually, like, yeah, like obviously Stan, Schoolism has some courses, and in terms of
Drawbox, I think is a good.
For books, actually, like, what really helped me out a lot when I was a kid? It's kind of sexist and shitty, but How to Draw the Marble Way. Like, I serious, like that book, I used to like, it taught me a lot about anatomy. It taught me a lot about just like getting all that. And it was really helpful. It was really, really, it worked out really well. Um, Alla Prima is a really good book to read, though. It's a little bit more advanced, but you can, if you pick it up and you're just like, oh, no, actually, this doesn't feel advanced, then that'd be great because, oof, if you can get like, well, let's do one that's looking back over for composition reasons, just to have fun with it. They're snakes; they can be everywhere. That's a Samuel L. Jackson found out. But yeah, hope that helps. Hope that checks out.
So, Let's see. Oh, we got like a YouTube suggestion for you.
Ooh.
Celia says, "Would you be willing to do a YouTube channel similar to the way Cynthia Shepherd does hers? She
Who's
did a
that?
lot of sit down and chilling with small oil painting and digital start to finish and Q&As. It was mostly just chilling and painting, which reminds me of how you are."
Hey, what up? I mean, yeah, I think like I'll have to think about it because part that was also very similar to how I was doing my streams,
Mhm.
right? And I don't know, like I was thinking of maybe just doing like videos, like pre-recorded style videos that like I would just go ahead and like, do like a, like here's my thoughts on this and do it more like a B-blog type of situation than anything, I was kind of thinking that way just because if it's occasionally, that's not a problem. But if that's the whole spiel, then that gets tricky because one of the things that became really hard for me while I was streaming is that like oil painting can be very personal for me because I never do oils for work. I just do it. I mean, I've occasionally done it for work, very rare, but I mostly just do it for myself. That's like what I do to kind of find myself. And it was really fun to share that with people, but it also you kind of lost a little bit of yourself there too, right? And so if it's something that you do every once in a while, no problem, right? Like we could handle that. But if it's something that like becomes the norm, if that's how like it works, then I might have to kind of reevaluate that because you kind of do lose a bit of your artistic self when you're so open that way. I don't know if that makes sense, but
Hmm. Yeah, no, absolutely. Um, let's see. Rodrigo Suarez wants to know, "Hey Carla, I wanted to ask you, how often do you practice with life models or painting from life? I know that it is very important to learn how to draw from life and not just using photographs. At
Mhm.
least that's the traditional way of thinking. What are your thoughts on that, or in how to use photo references correctly for a better practice? You are amazing. Greetings from Ecuador."
Hola, hola. Um, so so I think like it's really hard for me because I haven't done a lot of life drawing or a lot of life study in a while.
Mhm.
Mostly the pandemic, mostly just work. Um, so there's a lot of like different reasons to why. But like I will tell you though, when I was starting out, um, I would make a point to, always be drawing, studying from life. Like that was really, really important to me and my development. Um, I think that like, wait, hold on. I'm gonna do the backside of this. Because why not? Sorry, I was just like, yeah, that would be fun.
No, good.
um, I think that like when I was starting out, like I had my full time job at NCSoft, and I was going to life drawing twice a week, and I would do plein air paintings in the weekends. So I was really, really, really like into it. Um, Unless, of course, because back then I wasn't as well, as known. My work wasn't as known, and I had more time because I didn't have as many clients. Once I started having more and more clients, though, then I started doing, life drawing stuff, less and less just because I have clients and there's deadlines to meet and it's important. Uh, so I think like that became really, really, really important. Um, it became less important to be out there constantly and learning. Uh, but I miss it. I do. It's like I didn't just do it just to be like, aha, this is how I learn. I actually love plein air painting. I love being outside. I love learning and painting from life. It's like one of my favorite things to do. Um, I don't get to do it as often anymore though, and that's a bummer for me. But like, you know, if you're starting out, like it is really important to see how things actually work in reality, like how your eyes, like, you know, focus on something and imitate that in real life. If that makes sense.
Have you tried virtual reality?
I briefly tried it once.
I'm I I only ask because I'm wondering if artists will be able to get a similar like life drawing experience just by putting on like a VR headset.
Oh, gimme, gimme,
And
gimme. There we go. You are
yeah,
the market. Yes. Let's
well,
do
no.
one.
So I'm asking. I just got like the Oculus Quest 2,
Ooh.
and I've just been like tinkering around with it. But it's crazy like how the kind of experiences that you can have just by putting on the headset. And I'm wondering if that like will be able to give people a similar
Yeah.
way
Yeah.
of studying in the future. I don't know.
That
But
sounds awesome. Just give me that. Give me it. That would have been.
when you did your VR experience, did you try using Tilt Brush at all?
I did, but
Okay.
I think I used Tilt Brush when it was like super early on, and then I didn't try it again. So I haven't like done anything like lately. So it might.
That's your second YouTube video right there.
Ah! Damn,
Karla's
man! You're
Tilt
just like
Brush.
blam,
Yeah.
blam, big
Boom.
blam.
You're going to have a
What you
whole playlist by
what
the
you
time
need?
this
What you need?
stream ends. Let's see.
That is
Uh,
perfect.
let's see.
I want to give
That
her more feminine features really quickly, though. Got
sure.
very. Oh no, but let's continue with the
Oh, okay.
questions. I don't mind.
Let's see. That Bruno asks, "Hi Karla, could you
That
explain how
Bruno.
you use those line guides for lighting?"
Oh yeah, sure. In the same way that you'd use like a layer, I mean a perspective guideline. You know, like I like to think of these lights almost like a reminder of where the direction of the light's going. If it's the sun is pretty wide, sun is pretty large, so you're going to get parallel lines. If it's like a direct like maybe like a spotlight or something, then it coming from a light bulb, then they all, you know, it's coming from a source. So then it would be more, you know, kind of like that as opposed to parallel lines. However, when I'm lazy, I just do parallel lines because it's easy. But yeah, you're just reminding yourself where things are going, like right, like where if you have like, for example, now I'm noticing, and sometimes I'll paint really far away just to kind of like remember what's going on. So let's simplify this neck really quick, right? Like the shadow that I originally had is kind of going this way, right? But the way that the light's falling is more top. So actually it would create more of a shadow like this as opposed to the shadow that I had before. And instantaneously, that just feels more realistic because I'm taking into account the masses that are creating this shadow. So that's basically it. Like it's just a reminder to where the light is coming from. And if you remind yourself about that, then it just becomes a lot easier to be like, oh, there has to be a light that falls here. There has to be a shadow that falls here. You kind of have to start training your brain too to think in more like three dimensional as well. Like, and it's hard to describe, but it's just almost like pretend that you're already seeing the final painting or its sculpture or something like that, and you're just basically analyzing where things where what, you know, again, what planes are casting shadows and what planes are catching light. Like right off the bat, I'm seeing, like, for example, this snake right here would probably have a lot more light kind of hitting it, especially if this is like gold or something kind of metallic, right? Because the light is falling it, and then immediately, right as soon as the lights, like the strongest light, will have a very strong, warm, saturated Terminator edge. And then right as soon as you're done with the Terminator Edge, you're going to have usually an equally strong shadow in response to that light. And then that's how you can sort of start creating things that feel just a lot more, have a bit more realism to them, because that's just how light works. Yeah, what up?
Cool. Let's see. Arcane Dragon. I have been contemplating joining an atelier to eventually get in the concept art industry, but time and money are major factors to consider. Thoughts?
Mhm.
Question mark, question mark.
I mean, that's a God, that's a huge question, because I don't know your
Yeah,
situation,
it's kind of hard
right?
to give advice on that.
Like that could be, there could be so many things. Because like, what if if you're in the US, then your alternatives are either an atelier, or like, let's say you don't have a lot of money, ateliers are a great alternative because they don't cost nearly as much as the expensive art schools. But you also can have, like, rather than go to the expensive art school, you can just go to a community college and then learn on your own. Unfortunately, most colleges don't have very good education for what we do. Ateliers, now understand, ateliers, depending on the atelier, you're going to learn a lot about, and a lot of really important skills, how to observe, how to, like, you know, really, really, like, draw what you see and things like that. Those are really important things. But for entertainment art, you know, I've noticed some people have struggle taking their atelier, the things that they learn at an atelier, and, like, you know, putting them into more fantastical things. So just know, I'm just I'm not quite, I'm just I'm just thinking about that shadow. I don't know about it just yet. Um so just know that, like, that can be a bit challenging if you're, like, really, really, trained in an ultra traditional way. Sometimes transferring that into, like, the more imaginative drawing can take a bit. But you'll have the really awesome, like, observational skills that, like, really hardly anybody has, like, because people don't teach that anymore. So ateliers are just such a good choice, in my opinion. Um, I don't know. I think, like, but again, I don't know. Like, cause what if you're, like, in Europe, and, like, that's, you don't have to pay for, you have access to free education. Then an atelier would probably be the customer. Excuse me, the costlier route. And then I'm like, oh, I don't know. Like, maybe it's not a good idea. Maybe then you just get, like, you know, the Charles Bark drawing book, or there are, like, I think there are some classic atelier style books that you can learn from yourself. You won't have access to, you'll still need to pay money to get, like, the statues that are so important, to the work.
Mhm.
But yeah, actually, if we do it, Medusa gets her head cut off. So let's go with the story. No, I like that. Never mind. Screw story. But yeah, I don't. Again, it's such a hard thing to properly answer you without, like, knowing your circumstances. I'm sorry. That's a tough one. Okay.
Okay, let's see. Moving on. Tiger Shark um, asks any advice to stay motivated. I've been drawing 6 years, but now I can't stay motivated drawing after 1 hour. And now even the portraits I draw are starting to look alike.
Oh goodness. Hmm, that's some of these questions are really personal, and, like, are going to be very difficult to give you a good answer, because it's like, I don't know the circumstances to why you're not feeling motivated. Like, are they like, are you having like issues with, like, is it like life, is it, did you lose something, did you lose someone, like sometimes
Well,
like we can't, but but what
he's
I
also
would, uh-huh.
I was gonna say he's also just focusing on portraits. I'm just like, do you ever get to a point where you need to just draw like a completely different subject? Like,
Well, I mean, yeah, but
like what would
does he
telling
say
this?
just doing portraits?
I mean, it says now even the portraits I draw are starting to look alike. It just seems like he's very focused on portraits. So I'm just wondering, like,
That
does
could,
switching subjects ever help you? Like,
but that could also mean that portraits is like their comfort food,
yeah, okay,
and maybe like the comfort food isn't quite doing it anymore, which can happen. But you're right. Sometimes switching up can help. Sometimes just taking a break, like we're not machines, right? Like especially like we have this like mentality that we have to draw all the time, like draw, or die, 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 die. That's not how we work. We're not robots,
or
right?
Kim Jong Gi.
Or even Kim Jong-il, he chills out. He has a wonderful, life.
Yeah, but he
And
draws all the time, doesn't he?
yeah, but that's just you
Yeah.
as an artist. Like
Yeah.
that's you as a professional artist. It doesn't necessarily mean that you don't have a life outside
No,
of that.
absolutely.
Like at THU, whenever we'd all be in the same hall, we'd have our hours where we just draw together. But then when that was done, he'd go outside, he'd hang out, he'd chill out, he'd have a great conversation, he'd travel. Like, I think like we have this mentality of just like we need to be constantly producing things, and that's not healthy either.
Mhm.
Like, some you make and one of the best advice I got was from Ian McKay. He told me once, like rich lives lead to rich imaginations, and it's true. Like, sometimes in order for us to be able to do our best work, we need to step away from it for a little bit. Now, sometimes that's hard because sometimes you need to make a living. Like,
Right.
it's not easy, but like sometimes it's just a matter of being like, hey, like I need to take a break, or maybe like I do need to take like a week off, a month off. Who cares? Like, if it'll save you from burning out to the point that you don't draw again, and you save your desire to do this for the rest of your life, and so be it. But I think also like this brings information. So like try and figure out why. Like, ask yourself, why do you feel that way? And it's not like, I think deep down inside people tend to know the things that kind of bother them. They just don't want to necessarily admit them.
Mhm.
Like maybe perhaps it has nothing to do with art. Maybe you're just not in a good place. Maybe there's some certain like psychological things that need to be addressed first. Maybe perhaps you're exhausted because we're all still going through a crazy pandemic, and that has taken a toll on everybody I know.
Oh,
Like,
absolutely.
every artist I know is just like, I'm tired. We're tired, and that's not like anyone's fault. That's just how it is right now. So like, I don't know, maybe don't be so harsh on yourself. And I'm playing around with
So
colors now.
TLC is what you recommend. Just
Yeah,
like take a
honestly,
vacation.
yeah, take, if you can, take a vacation, and if you can't, like, try and find out what's going on there, because sometimes, like, more so than anything, I feel like stuff like that tends to be just more psychological than anything.
Nice. Okay. Danvis says, "How do I start studying colors to apply on portraits? I have a really, really hard time when it comes to painting my portraits, and most of the time, I don't even try grayscale to make them more 3D."
Oh, wait, grayscale. You don't need to do grayscale to make anything 3D. You can just jump into color. Um, I guess they're saying that because I'm kind of doing a slightly more grayscale type of character, but that's because I have like years of like just jumping into color.
Mhm.
So I kind of know where I'm going. So that's why I don't necessarily recommend, like, you can use grayscale occasionally to kind of check where you're going, but don't skip out on color either. I think the best thing that you can do is to I'm going to give you two, advices that you can do. Do a master study. That'll help you out a lot. So what a master study does is you're basically doing a one-to-one, um, just a one-to-one study of that of a master. Choose someone that has like wonderful colors. Like I really love Sargent. Sargent's just a great person to look up to, just because he has just a fantastic fresh take on color, and like do a study on that to the point where like you know take your time with it, to the point like where even you don't know who did who, which artist did it. And I think that's really, really, really important. And when I mean take your time, like I don't mean like, oh, it's a thing that you do for like a couple hours. No, it's a thing that you do for like a whole month, little by little. um and if you did it in a day, you didn't do it right. Like it takes time. And really learn, really try to mimic the brushstrokes, really try to mimic like the colors, the values, all these things. I think will be very helpful to you. um there we go, that's looking a little good, better. Oh man, I just realized I could spend forever on this. Oh no. The other thing I would say, um for portraits is like sometimes you just need like to kind of uh I don't know, the master study in itself is really good advice, because that'll really help you do like just color. But sometimes, well, oh, here's the other one. So sometimes the other thing that you just need, right? It's a lot of practice. So this is where like I would suggest do like 15-minute studies of like, film screen caps. That's really helpful too, because that will, just very quickly get you used to a lot of different looks and a lot of different things. Um I like, there's a new website that came out not too recently ago called Shot Deck. That one's a really great, just amazing website in general. There we go. Needed that. Because it really, really just you can like click a button and it'll give you like so many wonderful screenshots of so many movies. It's really amazing. Um, and then just like do 15 minutes studies of that. Try of just portraits, and all you're focusing on is making sure you get the color and the shapes right. That's it. Just quick 15 minutes. It really helps out a lot. Yeah.
Let's see.
Hopefully that helps.
Oh, I'm sure it did. Let's move on to Alexis Vasquez. How many thumbnails or rough sketches do you usually do when you're doing a keyframe or illustration?
I usually dude, rough sketches are like, for me, I think of like doodles, where I just kind of like, very quickly put down what I'm thinking. But what I actually send my bosses and things like that in terms of sketches, no more than like three, and most of the time I send just two. Uh, I I think it's just because I take my time with sketches, and I try to give really elaborate, really, awesome looking stuff that's well thought out. So I don't give like, 20 sketches, but I give like really solid, just like 2 to 3 ones. And I think that's enough. I think like when you give a client way too much choice, though, they kind of get like analysis paralysis. It becomes difficult to kind of choose, versus like if you were just to do like, hey, I'm just going to do like, give like some very few choices, but they're great choices. That changes things a little bit. Like, yay. My sketches tend to be very like detailed. I generally do very, very, very like detailed sketches. Like I send in like stuff that like if you squint your eyes kind of looks like a final. This counts as a mythological portrait.
Oh, absolutely.
Hell yeah. Can't get more mythological than a almost statue bust with gold and crazy eyes. Cute.
That's looking really good.
Thank you.
What? How like long on average do you typically spend for an oil painting? Like
On average?
like this? Like what?
Oh, so I'm a lot. My quickest medium is digital by far. Like
Okay.
I'm very fast with digital. Oils can take me a bit, and it's always really hard to say. Usually, I'd say, let me say this, take me probably like 3 days.
Okay.
For just like a portrait like this. But like I might take longer just because you can never tell. Like sometimes with oils, you'll be like, "Boom! I nailed this. This looks great. I did it. I'm the best." Like. And then other days, it's like, "Oh my god! I just spent a whole day painting, and like this didn't work out." Like that's just how it goes sometimes. So it's one of the reasons why I don't. It's very rare that I do oil work for any kind of actual client stuff. Like it needs to be like clients that really understand that like oils take time because you're not only dealing with like how much like brain intensive power you have to give, but you're also dealing with drying times.
Right.
And that can be a bit. So yeah.
Sincere Tony 7. My question is general question for you and everyone in Proko. Well, I'm not Stan, so I don't want to answer this, but what made you all want to stop that and actually help and show people and help them learn? Again, when I was growing up, no one wanted to share secrets or tips. What made you all want to change that? Which I do appreciate, by the way, very much for that. Just curious. So, essentially, what made you want to teach
Goodness.
and not hoard secrets?
Well, for starters, like I'm not necessarily a full-time teacher. So this isn't what I do all the time. I think I'm a little I tend to be very selfish with my own personal time, so I don't know if I'd be a good full-time
That was a
teacher.
twist right there.
Ba, 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 ba. But
Nah, I'm selfish as hell.
no, I'm selfish with my time. I really am, just because I have so little of it. But when it comes to teaching, I actually really love, doing workshops because they're just like, oh, I get the joy of still sharing what I know in very condensed moments where people just, really are attentive and I don't have to worry about it. And they'll get what they'll get out of it. And if they don't, then that's fine. And if they do, then I'm very happy and I did my job. But
Cool.
in terms of like sharing secrets, like I think it's kind of, I know some artists might get kind of scared, like, oh no, what if I do this and people will be better than me and then I'll never get a job. But for me, I'm just like, I don't know. I want people to be better than me. So I get excited and I like push myself even harder. And if I don't get a job because my work's not nearly as good as the other person, then I just got to get better. you
Right.
know?
The
So like,
competition
yeah,
makes you
I
stronger.
I get excited by that. I'm just like, oh hell yeah, look at that incredible artwork. Wow, that looks great. Oh, I got it. I'm inspired. I'm gonna go because that's the thing. I when I get
Yeah.
inspired, that's when I like want to do better. That's what pushes me to be better. So it's a very symbiotic relationship for me. Um, so I think also like like, man, it sucks when you're lost and it feels like you don't know where you're going, and like the people you look up to are just like, lol, tough luck, like that's like not helpful at all. And I've encountered people like that in my life, and I don't want to do that to people, like that's just not cool. You can be kind to people, you can be generous to people, and as long as there's respect, then let's go. There's no reason to not,
Yeah,
or at least that's
absolutely.
my philosophy.
Right. I feel like Stan would have a similar answer, but and I'm gonna market this. Tomorrow you can ask him because
Yeah,
Draftsman is going to have a live call-in session at noon. So you can ask Stan anything and Marshall.
do
So
it.
there you go. You can save that question for them
Yeah.
tomorrow. Let's see. Celia again, what's the best wine type in your opinion? Red, white, or pink?
Yeah, bro, I'm red.
Yeah,
Red life.
I'm part of the red wine life
Yes.
too.
In fact, I had my boyfriend pick me up a bottle as soon as we
Oh,
got
nice.
here.
Are you gonna crack it open, or not crack it open, but pop
Yeah,
it
yeah.
when you're done with the stream?
I'm trying to.
Be like,
So I've been I decided that this time around, because I miss conventions.
yeah.
And I love the idea of them. And one of my favorite things is all the cool things and all the fun stuff you get to do in a convention. Like, I like to, like, at the end of the long day, just have a drink with friends, or like in the beginning, have like a little continental breakfast. And so this morning, I actually went to like my neighborhood, coffee shop, and had like, bought pastries with coffee, got the coffee.
That's nice.
Yeah. And then I felt like I was at a convention. I'm like, I have like coffee and my pastry, and now I have like my wine after. Yeah. So I know. I'm trying to make it work for me.
Oh man, yeah, that sounds so nice. I literally like crawled out of bed this morning because
Yeah.
I have a 7-month-old, so
oh goodness,
pretty much
yeah.
the first thing I have to do in the morning is go get him and then make a bottle for him and
Yeah.
feed him
Of course.
and try to stay awake. I miss sleeping in so much.
Oh, that new parents.
But wine, I think I'll have some wine after this too.
Do it.
That sounds really
Ooh,
good.
we're gonna have wine. Let's get it done. Let's wine
Sounds
up.
great.
I'm gonna add a couple extra elements that I think would be really fun. I'm gonna add some gold, like, let's make it right there. Sorry, I'm just like, how are we doing on time? We're doing pretty good.
Yeah.
Actually, damn. Might be able to just do a dedicated like Q&A for like 30 minutes or something.
There you go. Let's see.
Also, the concept art awards is happening right now. If someone can put it on the side, because I'm nominated. I'm like, I wonder.
You're nominated?
I'm nominated.
Wait, so what is this? This is the first time I'm hearing about. This is the first I'm hearing about it. So what is it?
Oh, the concept art awards is basically the Concept Art Association. That's an award show, and it's really cute and it's really nice.
Cool.
And
can anyone vote?
No, they have. I mean, actually, can people vote? I don't know.
Do they have like a People's Choice Award?
I have no idea.
Okay.
It's a great question, though.
So I was gonna say you're streaming right now. We could just
send
to the army.
Hey,
they won't know what hit them, and then they can come back and continue watching the stream.
Cheers like the Webbies or something.
Yeah.
For sure. That'd be so funny though. Just be like, hey, everybody, go, give me
go. Let's see. Hi again. This is from YZ. Party emoji. So I love how creative you guys are getting with the emojis. Keep it coming.
Yeah, because they know we're gonna party afterward.
Exactly. Yeah. For the master study, would you also use the same medium as the old master, i.e., probably oil paint?
If you want, it's not necessary. I've done master studies, both for in oils and in digital. Oh, it's really just up to you.
Okay. And Feldrick says, "Can we get a new layer where she has a Ahegao face? Pretty please."
A what face?
I don't know how to say this.
Post
Ahegao?
post it in chat.
Okay, I'll
Post it
post
in
in
chat.
chat. I don't know what.
I mean, I'm always down to like be silly with things, but like
I don't
I
know
need
what
to
that
know.
is.
I hang out. I don't know what that is. Here, I'm
Okay.
gonna open
Open it in
just in case.
Yeah, just in case. I feel like it's gonna trigger.
No. Get out of here. Get out of here with your horny.
Okay.
Mm.
No.
It's the one where the lady sticks out her tongue and her like.
Oh, that's what that's called?
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Okay, well, we learned something new.
Bunk. You know, where's the stick?
You
Just
guys
bunk.
are trying to get us deplatformed.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Bunk.
Boo.
This is Medusa. She doesn't do that anyway.
Yeah.
She's stoned. She can't.
Let's see.
But now I know that's the name of that. At least you learned something.
There you go. Yeah.
You
learn something new every day.
Yeah.
People on YouTube are saying don't Google.
No, I Googled it immediately. Are you kidding me? That's the first thing I do.
Oh man. Okay. I don't think we have any more questions on the Proko page.
No more questions on the Proko page.
Let's see.
No more questions.
Someone did post, like, is this the concept art link Karla's mentioning? Conceptartassociation.com. I'm assuming so.
Yeah. But don't go anywhere. Stay here.
Yeah. You can't vote for her, unfortunately.
No, you can't.
So
I would feel bad bad. Asking for that though, because the other nominees are really good.
Yeah, but you got to use every advantage you got. Well, I mean, you obviously are good enough to get nominated. So,
well, if it's
at that point,
like if it's a fans choose type of situation, then okay, we're playing this game. Let's go. But nah.
Karla, you go all out. You just said you got to compete.
That's true. You got to have your A game. All right, never mind. Sorry, everybody who's competing.
Every advantage.
If we had to, it'd be army time. Let's go.
Let's see. Oh man.
So good.
I think the person that posted that question. I was hoping he would skip over that cringe question. So okay, well I didn't. So that's my bad.
The person who asked it?
I think so, or maybe
why did you ask it?
Or maybe there was a person.
Why did you ask it? You know, sometimes I do get that. Like sometimes you say things and you just kind of say it and then you're like, oh no, my foot is in my mouth. Oh no, what do I do? Like I can relate to that. That's fair. That's chill.
Well, originally I came back to that question because originally I saw it and I was like, I don't know what that is. At least how to say it, and so I skipped over it, and then I was like, "Well, we're out of questions, so I'll go back to it."
No. I'm, you know, it's like it's a big no, but I'm glad that I know the name of it because I've seen it around. I'm like, that's a dumb face, like that's so dumb. That's no. That's I can keep talking about it, but I don't know if I should.
No, we'll move on.
We'll move on because I was about to go on a rant, and I'm like, I don't know.
Oh, Karla rant. That could be a YouTube.
Oh man, video, my rants.
Karla's rants.
I get so salty, and I don't hold back, and I don't know.
Oh man,
I don't know how healthy.
Yeah, it could be like, let's see.
Damn, but I gotta say, you've been at it. You're just like, hey, do this. You can do that. You are the marketing person. You got this.
I found very early on that you just have to keep throwing suggestions, and that's how you, or at least for me, that's how I keep my job. So
yeah, oh, it's a good.
Yeah,
it's a good way to keep it.
It is a good way to keep my job.
Very nice.
Oh man, I'm trying to scroll back now because I think like people posted ideas for your YouTube channel name.
Oh,
and I'm trying to see if there'd be. The problem is that like people are very active in chat, so
they're partying.
They're partying, yeah.
Oh man, I think we got a party. Like
that's the thing, yeah.
John, I think we got a party.
Man. Okay, well, if you know what, I'm a little bit too lazy, and I'm also tired. So if you had an idea for Karla's YouTube name, post it now.
Yeah.
Repost it, and I'll read them off to her. See if any of them win.
Oh, she is staring right at your soul.
Oh, someone said, by the way, the winner was the one Andy Park made for Scarlet Witch, but Karla's Amalia was so good.
Thank you. Of course. No, I was, that's good though. I knew because Andy's really good and Andy's amazing. And what he did for Scarlet Witch was so good. And the thing that I really is like, I'm really happy and proud of mine, but it's still kind of a historical based image. So like, in terms of like creativity, like it's creative, but most of it is still referencing from something versus like the things like, for example, that Andy and Phil had, like they had to construct a lot of things that were fantastical. And Andy reached this like really nice like symphony of shapes for Scarlet Witch in there. That's like, so yay! Gonna have to congratulate him. Yeah, he's on a roll because he like Shang-Chi just released and he's been like, oh my god, look at all the stuff that I'm doing. And he's a sweetie. I actually work with Andy.
Oh, nice.
Okay. Yeah, he's a big sweetie.
That's cool.
I need to, as soon as this is over, I'm gonna be like, Andy!
Andy, we got a party. I got the wine.
Andy, I'm drinking wine. What you drinking? I should look at gold. I've just been like, woo, whatever. All right, let's see. Gold.
For like a reference image?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah.
Just to kind of really get the feeling of the material. Because like that's something like you can kind of like estimate, but like you can just really, really.
Also, what are you using for the snakes? Is that just imagination, or do you have a reference for that pulled somewhere?
Oh, for the snakes, the only reference I have open right now for the snake is this one.
Oh, that one. Okay.
And then this one. But that's about it. Yeah. I should show the references all the references that I'm using.
Okay, because I was seeing you do the snakes, and I was like, wow, that's impressive that she's just
like these are the references that I'm using right now.
Okay, cool.
Oh, and then this one right here too.
Nice.
Actually, that's the thing that kind of gave me this idea. And so yeah, but I'm having them away because I'm not using them heavily. So I'm just like kind of loosely using them. And because I'm just kind of, not using them as much, I'm like, I don't want them to take over the space, right? Like they don't.
Right.
I don't need to have everything.
No, I think what you have is fine. That's cool. That's great.
Yeah.
Let's see. Someone wants me to ask you, what's the most beautiful thing you've seen today?
That's a lovely question. Oh, the most beautiful thing I saw today. I'm trying to see if I want to answer with food or if I want to answer with my cat. I'll go with my cat. She, in the mornings, she will bitch and moan about her food, but there will be a period of time where she will lay on you, and just kind of cuddle up. And like she just gets so cute. Like when she cuddles up, she'll like kind of turn around at first. Her butt will face you, so that's not that cute. But then she'll kind of stretch about and then switch up, and then she just kind of like sleeps like this almost. Like she puts her head, and like it's super cute. And she did that this morning. I was like, so it was really beautiful. But that's a wonderful question. You don't never get asked that. What's something beautiful that you saw? What about you, John? Like, what was the most?
I'm biased. It's my kid every morning.
It's your baby.
Yeah, he's growing so fast, and you don't really like. It's such a cliche thing to say, like, "Oh, they grow up so fast."
Yeah,
but it's really it's so weird because they are literally an embodiment of time, essentially. And like when you see people, you don't really see them change, like over a long period of time. But like with kids, it's completely different. You kind of realize how old you're getting just by looking at them grow.
Oh my goodness!
But yeah, it's definitely my kid. He does something cute every day. So I mean, yeah, definitely biased there.
Congratulations! No, that's a good bias to have.
Oh yeah,
I think that's a great bias to have.
He keeps me on my toes.
All right. Just going places. Weird places. This painting's kind of weird. I'm gonna take over more of the canvas. There's no reason to have such empty space. That's too much. All right, I think I'm gonna start wrapping this up. I'm kind of tired. And I don't I'm just like, oh man, don't make me paint all these snakes. I'm like, I should have thought this out a little bit better about Medusa. Is that I'm painting snakes forever, and that takes forever.
Yeah.
I'm like, I made a mistake.
No, honestly, that looks great. I mean, that's for one, that's way better than I could do right now.
Oh, thank you.
If we were to enter a drawing competition right now, I would get smoked.
Whoa.
Do you know that Stan actually has paid me for my artwork?
Whoa, good for you.
No, it's really bad.
Wait, why is that bad? If you're made artwork, you should get paid for it.
I find it hilarious. No, because my art is terrible. I don't know any fundamentals. I'm actually really excited to take his basics course once it comes out. But this was like when I first started working. Mm-hmm. He needed like bad art to sell like his courses. Like, if you don't want your art to look like this, get my course. Yeah. And originally, he was the one who drew like a quote unquote like bad artwork. But the thing was, like, people would see it at the end of the video, and they were like kind of like Picasso images, and people were like, that doesn't look like bad art. And so he then was like, hey, I need you to just draw. And so I have like in a bunch of like older anatomy videos, I have my artwork being shown to people that watch these videos. Yeah, it's crazy. So even a bad artist can get paid.
Get paid, yeah.
If I can get paid for my art, then there's hope for all of.
Get paid at all stages.
Yes.
Damn, though, he just like threw you under the bus.
What, Stan?
Yeah.
No, not at all. No, I was happy to do it.
Okay.
Yeah. No, there's even if people have seen like the sales video for the portrait class on Proko, my drawing is at the end and it morphs into Stan's like female portrait drawing, and it's pretty cool. Yeah.
All right. Okay. All right.
But
if it serves a purpose,
yeah,
and it's a good one, all right.
wait. Let's see.
That's awesome, though. Congratulations. I'm like, I'm almost done. Continues to paint. This is me always. I'm just like, I am done. I swear it. And then I'm just like, we just gonna paint.
I feel like that's the artist curse, right? It's like just a little bit more time.
It really is.
And
it's kind of annoying.
Yeah. No, Carl was talking about that earlier, just how, and I felt bad for him. There was one question. He was like, "Are you ever satisfied with your work?" And he's like, "No, I look back at my work all the time, and I always find like something to nitpick about it."
Really? Oh,
Yeah, it's like, oh, that answer killed me because I love all of his stuff. It's amazing.
Oh, I never feel that way actually.
Yeah.
Because I'm just like, oh, whatever. It was a time of my life. It's over. It's past. And I tend to be more positive about it. I'm like, oh, like that. I usually tend to dislike my work immediately after I do it, and then with time, like I actually tend to be way nicer.
Mhm.
And then I'm like, oh, actually, that wasn't nearly as bad as I thought it was. Oh, cool! Yay, me! Like versus like work that like so that's interesting.
Yeah. I mean, I feel like it's different for every artist.
Yeah. That's a very like it just depends.
Oh, someone. Oh, sorry to interrupt you. Someone
No.
has a YouTube name suggestion for you.
Oh.
Carla's Canvas with a K instead of a C for canvas.
Oh, that's classy.
So I feel like that's good too because then it leaves it open to doing all kinds of art stuff.
Yeah, it kind of does, doesn't it?
Yeah.
It's pretty classy too.
Carla's Canvas.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. All right, okay, all right. Put it in the suggestion box. Thank you. I'll just be rude. Like people will expect like this fancy art is like the most ridiculous. Like,
oh, someone also wants to know: are Medusa's nose hairs just tiny snakes?
That's such a good question.
That is a good question. I've never thought about that.
Oh no. The logical conclusions of that. I don't want to think about this anymore. Oh no, but yeah, like if you grow an older Medusa, little snakes. If Medusa has like sweet eyebrows, little snake. No, I think it's just a head. That's I think she just is like a regular woman with like snake heads. All right. Let's go. All right. Is chat still partying?
Oh yeah. No, they're still partying.
What, man? Maybe I need to stop like working and just like let's go chat. Let's just party. This will actually cast a shadow. A little bit like that. Okay. All right, let's do some last minute finishes in here. It won't let me. So we're going to put these away.
Whenever I hear someone like say that now, like Ross Draws instantly comes to mind with like color dodge. I don't know if you've ever seen like his videos, but
no,
he's like, it's color dodge time, and then he just like goes into
really.
Yeah, it's pretty funny.
What does a burn tool or dodge tool?
It would be the dodge tool, I think, because it's color dodge time. But I don't know if that applies here. But I don't know.
No,
for some reason, that just sticks in my head.
Yeah, no, I mean, there's so many different. Everybody, that's cute. That's a good catchphrase. Yeah. Everybody has like different things that they do. I need to put my other monitor's the one that I use for color correcting for the most part. Everybody has like little things that I think like they do at the end of this. Just realized that this needed to be fixed. There we go. And this can have a little bit over here. And this over here, and then this right here. All right, there you go. Oof. All right, and then that over there. I will never finish. I have lied to you. It's just too fun, right?
Oh, yeah.
Especially once you get into the little details that you can add to it, like in the textures. Because it's stone, so you're gonna get like those like cool like little bits of highlights and streaks and
On a similar note, someone in chat said, which artwork is the one you think of the most that you have done? Like, is there a piece of art that you've done that like you always are like thinking back on, like, oh, wow, I did such a good job? Or maybe just, I don't know.
That's a hard one because I try actually to not think. Like for example, there are certain actors that try very hard not to look at the work that they've done. Like that's a thing. They just don't, just because like they don't. And I wonder if like that's something that I instinctually do because I don't like. I try not to think about old work that I've done.
Okay, so you always try to like move on to the next thing.
Yeah, but if I were to say like if I were to turn that question around and say like, what is artwork that I feel like really defined and changed or did amazing things for me, I would say like there's a couple. There's a Tesa painting that I did because that was my first Magic the Gathering card. So that really kind of changed things for me and it changed how I viewed things. There's also a black and white painting. I'm not painting, a drawing that I did a long time ago of my current boyfriend too, and that kind of like gave me like a feeling that kind of like really worked out a couple things for me. Like it just there's certain paintings that things just kind of click, and all of those paintings something clicked. There's work that I've done recently that I think I've done very well on, but that I can't talk about because it's secret stuff.
Okay. Secret.
Most of the stuff that I work on, unfortunately, is very secret. So, like most people don't get to see it like for a very, 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 very long time, if at all. Because I recently had a project. I was working on a really cool video game project and it got completely canceled. So yeah, and I did some fun work. I was like, oh, I can't wait to show this one.
Oh, that's painful. That to me would probably be the most depressing thing.
It is
for me.
It is. It can be extremely depressing. So it was just like,
are you allowed? Like, are you allowed to do something with that work? Like, if a project gets canned or it never sees the light of day?
Mm-hmm.
Oh man!
Because you never know. Like companies can be weird. You never know that like if they'll pick something up or not.
Okay.
Like I do know of people that are just wait like a specific amount of time and then they say, "Screw it, I'm gonna release it." But like it's always gambling. You're just
right because you sign like an NDA, right?
Mm-hmm,
I'm assuming. Yeah. So,
and like it's a gamble, and you're basically just like, oh, if they don't care, then it's all gravy. But if they do, I'm screwed. And you don't want to be in that position.
Is it one of those things where you could like slightly modify it and be like, oh, this is a completely creative, unique work of art that was definitely not tied to a project that I worked on?
That could be interesting.
Oh, there you go.
That I haven't thought about. But like you're just constantly working, so it's like I just wait for something else. Okay, I'm almost done. I swear. I just needed to adjust the light on it just ever so slightly, and now it needs readjust over here.
Let's see. We got another YouTube title suggestion.
Ooh, let's go.
It's someone says it should be called Karla Pays the Rent.
I like that one's very straightforward. It's like, listen, I got bills. Yeah. I like the utility of that one. It's very you guys have great suggestions. Yeah, everybody's doing great suggestions. Oh my goodness. By the way, it's always so funny. Like, it's always these last little details that really pull it together.
Aw, I'm getting some personal comments. It's really nice, guys. Thank you.
Aw.
Yeah.
From you?
Someone just said, just wanted to show
weird.
some love to the marketer. I know behind the scenes don't really get love, so thank you also for
No.
being a part of the stream. Keep at it, brother. Absolutely.
Oh, for real. Yeah. No, you guys are important. So important.
Oh, yeah. Let's see. Wait, got a legit question. Which artwork have you? Oh, wait, no. Okay, I already answered that one or asked that one to you. Thank you very much for the stream. I loved every bit of it. As always, you're the most charming artist in existence.
Whoa! I don't know about that.
Whoa! So you didn't win the concept art award today. But you got the most charming artist in existence, which I would say is a better award.
That is a good award. Oh my goodness. No, but that's because you guys haven't met me, Ian McKegg, and then you'll be like, oh, Karla, nah, but thank you. I do appreciate that. That's very sweet. But damn.
Oh, oops, I misspoke on the title earlier. Someone says it's Karla Pays the Rant.
Oh, damn.
So my bad.
Dude, no, I kind of like it better now.
Karla Pays the Rant. Nice.
That's a good little. But then that makes I hear the drama YouTubes though, they make bank, so
they do, but I feel like it's a short-term strategy.
Yeah, it really is. It's like good for like
it's not good for your health either.
It really isn't.
I guess some people thrive on that, but
that's exhausting.
It's
to
exhausting.
Be honest.
Yeah.
And honestly, like the thing is, when you devote, and this is the thing in Twitter too, like when you see those accounts that all that they're devoted to is like to like get really angry about things or people and get very gossipy, it's like eventually you'll see it. People will turn on them. Yeah. Like, because that's what if you put your audience to get really angry at all kinds of things and it's always just drama, eventually you will find
turn around on you.
Yeah. You will find yourself in that drama, and that's not fun. That's not a fun place to be. So this is just live a chill life, honestly. Why not? Okay, I think this is good enough.
Nice.
Let's
big reveal. I'll go full screen for that.
Wait, not yet. Not yet.
Okay.
Because we still have the last minute stuff that we got. I'm just saving it, by the way. I'm glad I caught you. So we are going to adjust the levels. Where'd they go? Right here. We're going to play around with it. I play around with this a lot. Just kind of what feels right. And then too much. And then I'm going to lower this just a bit. How about that? Nope. I'm not a fan of that. Let's try that again. Adjust the levels. Probably just going to darken that a bit. And I kind of like how it looks for the most part. Oh, no. I saw something and now I have to fix it. Sometimes the transitions need to be very, very subtle. And even though you're working like just little bits, it really makes all the difference. Like this value right there, you need to see it here too. Yeah, that really helps. Damn it. I was hoping I'd be done. Nope, not in this stream. We're not done ever.
Right.
We're just gonna stay here.
You gotta remember, this is gonna live on the internet forever. So you gotta get it right.
No pressure.
No pressure.
whatsoever.
Yeah.
I'm totally chill. I'm not sweating bullets. Nope. No siree.
Carla, what are your thoughts on NFTs? Is that
Oh
something you're gonna
God.
consider or no or?
I'm so nervous to even answer this question because back in
Oh,
March, I was just even asking questions. I haven't minted anything yet. And it got nasty. It really changed my relationship with social media, actually.
wow. That
No,
no, I
I got threats. I got violence threats.
whoa, really?
I even had someone on Twitter, and so comic book artists like actually say I should lose my job. And I was just
What?
talking about it. No, it got really
No,
bad for
yeah,
me.
I believe you because literally Stan was, I think that was around the time that Stan was putting out an episode about
Yeah,
NFTs, just like
yeah.
talking about it. And he was like, I am really worried about putting this episode out. And I saw the episode
It's a good episode.
a couple days before, and I was like, I think you're overreacting. And he's like, dude,
Hmm.
you have no idea how toxic like this topic is right
It's
now in the art community. And I was like, I don't know. It seems like a pretty balanced
it
discussion.
yeah, I'm actually
Um,
really angry.
so
And
I feel like people have
I'm
cooled off on it now, but that
no.
no, it's still okay. Never mind.
I saw recently. I don't know. I got really mad because I personally think and it's improving a lot. But
Hmm.
I thought and I still think it has a lot of promise and it has a
Hmm.
lot of really interesting things to the technology and that it can do.
Yeah,
And you know where did I do any technology, it's something that can be improved, and it's something that really depends on who is wielding that technology, right?
hmm,
So if you have someone who's only interested in making a lot of money in a really unethical way, then that's how they utilize technology. But if
right,
you have someone that wants to use the technology in a way that is helpful for community or something like that, then that's how you can do it. For example, a lot of people don't even the blockchain technology is really actually impressive. There's things called DAOs that are decentralized. Okay, hold on a minute. Decentralized autonomous organizations, which is
yeah,
basically a group of people under one smart contract, and you can build things together. You can do international co-ops together because it works automatically. So there's a
right,
really lots of great uses for the technology. My biggest concern back then too is that I knew and still know, and I cannot talk about this, of major companies that are still looking at this, because of course they are.
right,
And my concern was, all right, companies are going to come into the space, and usually artists get totally screwed because they do.
hmm,
We don't have a seat at the table. And you could see, you were already seeing kind of DC be like, hey, DC artists, you can't utilize our stuff. But they
hmm.
were sort of selling stuff via a platform called Vivi of artists without their knowledge and without, benefiting artists.
Okay,
And hold on. And with this technology, the way that it's set up, because I've researched the crap out of this. I'm not gonna have a major I was like, okay, this is interesting. I'm gonna learn as much as I can about it.
hmm,
And you know, one of the things that the NFT space does, and it does well, is that it does give artists a lot of the profit and a lot of the initial profit. For example, in the fine art world, if you join a gallery, the gallery will take easily 50% of everything, just without no
right,
questions asked. NFT space, most of the galleries will take about depending on where you go, anywhere from a 2%
hmm,
to a 20. And that's huge. That in
yeah,
itself is very different. And so but for me, my thing that I was like trying to think is like, okay, we need to like, you know, make sure that like, you know, companies make the right decision. And there's a lot to discuss about like and I know, again, I know a lot about this. Because I'm of the belief that like you can take something, right? You can be a part of it and you can demand change. And especially because it's so early on, you can actually enact good change. Like for me, one of my main worries and concerns is the environmental aspect of it. Like, of course, like
right. I know that's a big concern for a lot of people.
But it also depends too, because like some people say that like, oh, but like you know, like for example, Ethereum, which is where most NFTs are, if not all NFTs are. Well, no, not most, because you've got the ones that are on like proof of stake networks that aren't at all like environmentally shitty. Like
Right.
those are fine. But let's just focus on Ethereum. Like you could say, oh, like this is really bad, but like, you know, have you know, for example, some of us work for Netflix, some of us work for, you know, companies. Have you seen like the, you know, the massive use of like energy? Like, or for example, private airplanes, like, you know, just like a very small percentage of the very rich can utilize like private airplanes, like that takes like way more than like the Ethereum. God, I make these arguments and I don't remember the exact numbers. Otherwise, I would, because I'm all about like, all right, let's see if this is true. Let's check the data. What does this say?
Right.
How is this comparable? And so there's a lot of things that are going on, and especially kind of like crazy when you think about like, you know, I'm worried about climate change. It's one of the things I worry the most about. But like I'm also like, I understand that like 70% of all global emissions are created by just 100 companies. So even if all NFTs, even if all crypto were to be gone tomorrow, we're still screwed. It wouldn't do anything.
There'd be very little impact.
No, they'd be like, it'd be like no impact, because they're not the ones creating, you know, like it affects it, and it does, and it's irresponsible of, you know, for example, Bitcoin's really irresponsible because there's no plans for it to improve its energy consumption.
Although,
but
yeah,
go ahead.
I was going to say, I thought I heard recently, like with Bitcoin anyway, that a lot of the energy consumption coming is like they're trying to find green energy, I guess, to handle Bitcoin, right?
They have to, because like their goal is to have mass adoption of these things, right?
Right. No, I think Ecuador.
Oh yeah, Ecuador.
Bitcoin right now, right?
So yeah, no, the Ecuador. I just read an article the other day that's wild. So Western Union, which had a monopoly over all transfers, you know, because most, you know, I think I read like 80% of, you know, expats that are from Ecuador send money back home, and they all use Western Union, and Western Union fees were super exploitative. But like that Ecuador switched to Bitcoin, they're not getting charged these massive fees, and it's actually like almost like a 400 million loss from Western Union. And so like, and that's a good thing, because Western Union does, like, they, you know, you have to go to a physical location. And if you're in a poor, you know, and from a poor family, you don't always have access to a car. So the trip is extremely exhausting. And like, you don't have, their rates, their, of, you know, taking out the money were very just all over the place. And so, yeah, so we're seeing a lot of crazy changes. So my frustration was that, and I've actually discussed this with the author on Twitter, and I was like, I think you did very poorly here. I think a lot of the earlier articles that came out didn't inform people properly.
Right.
Because they didn't talk about, for example, okay, what are the problems? And that's important to know, right? but we got to be objective. Are there pros? Are there cons? Are there benefits to this?
Yeah, you have to weigh
or
everything.
or even better yet, do we have solutions, right?
Mhm.
And at the time when these articles were made, like, proof of stake networks existed, and those have zero, absolutely no, like some of those even run in, like, depending on which one you're talking about, some of those even run in like a little Raspberry Pi, which is like
That's
your cell
crazy.
phone, and the entire
Yeah.
blockchain is on your cell phone. And it's like, depending on which one, like, hundreds of thousands, over even 500 times thousand better than like Ethereum. So it's like it'll be like you mint something and the cost of that is just turning on your light.
Yeah.
That is proof of stake. So there are already better technologies that you can utilize. But instead, they put it as, oh my God, like, this is really bad. And it is, like, but it didn't put it in context of anything else. It was just, it's easy to see as uniquely bad when you don't, like, put it in context with other things, right? Which is
Right.
fine, because, you still don't want to contribute. But then they didn't tell you about, like, the solutions. Like, one of the people was Joni LaMercer, who was one of the first persons who released this. And he was quoted by Wired, he was quoted by NPR. And one of the things that he was one of the first who raised the alarm. And it was a good alarm to raise, because I think, ETH is supposed to be transitioning to proof of stake. And I think if people can make better choices that are, like, environmentally better, then they should make those choices, right? Especially companies. But the person who wrote that, Joni LaMercer, was like, I'm never going to do an NFT. He was doing NFTs like 3 weeks after. He was just doing it on Tesos.
Well, yeah.
Which is,
So that's why I'm asking you about NFTs now, because I feel like, at least on Twitter, I feel like I've seen kind of a gradual change towards more accepting NFTs, at least within the art community. But I mean, I might be biased, but I don't know.
It depends, maybe. Like, it just depends on who you follow. Like, everyone's feed will be totally different.
Right.
But I think the thing that, like, to go back to my biggest frustration is that, like, there was one article that was like, this is the article that you sent to, and it was just very intense.
Oh,
and
so you shared like an article and it blew up on your Twitter kind of thing?
No,
or?
I didn't share it, because I read it and I'm like, this isn't quite, I don't agree with this. One of the issues that I had with it was, and I told the author just directly via Twitter. Maybe that's why I got in trouble.
Oh, okay. So you went after the author
I was
of the
polite.
piece.
No, I didn't went after.
You're like, you're wrong. This is a Karla rant. You've been bad.
I try to be really polite. The only time that I'm not polite is when someone crosses the boundaries into, like, this is not okay. But I don't remember what it was, but we were talking about something, and, like, someone mentioned her. She came to talk, and I was like, listen, like, I think your article is really irresponsible. And some of the worst abuse that I saw in my community was always someone linking your article, because the article placed this as a moral, it's either good or it's either evil, problem.
Black and white issue kind of thing.
But it's not. It's technology. It's like getting angry at the internet or getting angry at the camera, and you can dislike it, and that's totally fine and fair. But you can't be like, everybody who uses the internet is evil, and because then and it created.
It's kind of like the people that like made it as like a silent movie star, and then like sound came out and they couldn't adapt, or same with like radio and like
and new technology can be frightening, and what, like, new technology should be handled with care, and it shouldn't be just done haphazardly, like especially with NFTs. Like, there's a lot of very interesting use cases for this. They should be done in a way that makes sense. And they should be done in a way that is ethical and responsible, both to the environment and to the artist. But we couldn't have those conversations. We couldn't have the conversation of, should a company that allows people to mint artwork that is stolen be punished? Because if a company that is entering the space how much, like, let's say if DC or Marvel jumps into the space, how much should they give artists? Because in the way that it is today, it's zero because of the work for hire contract. Like, so we had all those conversations that we needed to have and still need to have, but we couldn't have them because it became then, if you engage with this, if you talk about this, you are evil, and you are not to be trusted, or, you know, I am so disappointed that you're taught. And it's rough. It's really rough. And it's also rough to see people, you know, I'm very pro artist, and I'm very pro artists getting worth their labor.
Right.
Getting paid well too. I've actually been thinking a lot about the actual value of art, and, like, you know, looking at the profits that these big companies like Disney or so on make. If you were to just give like a very small percentage, like even just like a 1%, and say you were, you know, this concept team was responsible for 1% of this movie because they made it look good. And some would argue it's much higher than that. But let's just say 1%. Like a movie, like, for example, Black Panther made $1 billion. Just the movie alone, not the toys, not the DVD releases, just the box office alone. If you're going to give 1% of that to like the art team that designed how that looks, that's a lot of money.
Yeah. Well,
and we don't see any of that. So sorry, you started this.
Yeah, no, I know. No, I got so many things.
I've just been really. I'm even hesitant to talk about it because I know that I'll get someone on Twitter. Ooh, that looks great. See my final touches. I know that I'll get someone on Twitter, and I'm personally trying to be good change behind the scenes, and I'm trying to see how can these things be pushed to be better, to be ethical, to work for artists. But I try not to engage in these conversations, even though I have a lot of thoughts on it, just because it gets a lot. Like, and people can say, hey, just ignore it. But when you have like strangers just being like, you know, you're like saying the worst things, you're, you know, and it wasn't just me, it was my friends. I had a friend that this dude was sending him pictures of nooses. Like, that's how bad it got. Oh no, it got bad.
Oh man.
I
don't get how it can get like that.
Yeah, I had another artist say, first, like, tweet me and say that, like, oh, she's like so thirsty, she's like horrible, you shouldn't trust her. And then immediately after tweet, when these artists go back to their studios, they should get beat up. You know, I'm just like,
dang. That's crazy. Someone says you need a podcast.
Oh, I have. You know, actually,
you have a podcast?
No. I've thought about podcasts because I'm like, YouTube sounds like a lot of work. But if I just have a podcast, maybe that's the answer, right?
There you go.
Because I just think a lot of this stuff. Maybe I should have a podcast. You know, everybody and their mom has a podcast. I can have a podcast. All right, I should be done here. This is it. Hold on.
Oh, wait, can I go full screen?
No, not yet.
Is that the cue?
No, it's not the cue just yet. Hold on. All right, hold on. Let me lower this. Oh no, wait, hold on. Oh, there and boop. Yes, I am done. Hold on. I'm done.
Boom.
Holy moly.
That's the mythical portraiture demo that you guys came to see.
Oh, and I could still do so much more.
Nope, that's it. It's locked.
But I need to stop before I continue more on a rant, and then I can't look at Twitter forever. And then 2, because like I won't stop. I just won't stop. Like now I'm like looking at the cheek area, and I'm like, I could fix that a little bit more. I could do so much more with it.
That looks great. I love the eyes. The eyes really sell it. I feel like
creepy. Yeah.
Ugh. Haunting.
You thought she was dead. She's not.
Stone cold look right there.
Yeah. So as mythological as one can get. Medusas. It's like Milady. But Medusa. Oh, Actually, I messed up. Hold on.
What?
Hold on. I have to finish something.
This is the big reveal.
No, I know, but this is really important. You need to sign your work. No matter what, you need to sign it. It's like one of the first lessons I learned when I went into film. Someone was like, "Hey, Karla, you need to fix this." I'm like, "What? Where's your signature?" I'm like, "Oh, I didn't put it." He's like, "No, people will take credit for it. You need to put your signature in there." I'm like, "Okay." Plus, it makes for a great brush.
Absolutely. Yeah.
Anyway, can we end it in a question that's not NFTs, just in case? Because
Yes.
I'm so nervous. I'm like, oh, I don't want to deal with that.
Let's see. There was someone. I think there was someone in chat that like really wanted me to ask you something. Okay.
Ooh, let's
Sorry to pester you. Could you ask Karla what does she like and what doesn't she like about the piece she's doing?
Oh, that's a really good question. Actually, that's a perfect question to end it out.
Yeah.
So I really like the mood. I think I captured the emotion I was looking for. Like a very intense but like subtle, just like you know, like that moment. I like the kind of the direction that I took, you know, the colors, the warmth, you know, slightly warmer stone as opposed to, you know, more cooler. Things that I don't like about it, I'm not at all yet convinced. And it's not that I don't like it. I would say I'm not convinced by, because if I had more time, I would work really hard on it so that I am convinced. But I'm not convinced by the levels or the values just yet. I feel like there's this bit of elegance that's missing, and like a bit of softness and a little bit of transition that is missing. I would that it's hard to get in like a 3-hour demo, because like this is the thing that I would spend a long time on, right? Like, and it could take me a whole day. It could take me, well, no more than a whole day for just a face. I would definitely move on. But like, I'm definitely missing it. And specifically where my instincts tell me is like this spot right here, or even just that bit of light right there helps a lot. I think I went a little too hard on the darks right here, you know, so I maybe try and lighten it up just a bit and try to play around with it. And then just do transitions of planes between light and shadow a little bit softer. So I would just work on that. I think that's the number one thing that I'm not convinced by. And then obviously like finish up the snake heads, but that would take forever. And if I got those like values right, like the relationship between the light and the shadow, because I think I went too dark on certain things. So I probably would erase maybe perhaps the levels that I did and I adjusted. Maybe perhaps I can do that right away. But yeah, those are the things that I definitely, just looking at it, that's like kind of where my body, and even that alone, even though it's like, oh, let's go to light, and like there, that feels a little bit closer to what I kind of had in mind. And then I just probably play around with the values for a little bit until I got it. Because I'm looking for like there's like a beautiful transition between light and shadow, and a softness with, like, for example, like when you look at stone, like it's soft, it's gradual, there's no like strong, like stuff like this you can usually see on like skin, but with stone you don't get that. So I think I try more to capture that kind of elegance, that kind of like textural like behavior with it. So yes, thank you so much for that question.
Yeah, that's a good question to end on.
Let's end it there. Woo! And maybe we just go way bluer too. Why not? Who cares? We're in charge.
That is cool.
And then that's it. We did it.
Woo!
Yay!
Oh, man.
But yeah, now I feel like I need to like grab a drink, and rant with my friends.
There
like,
you go. Just be like, you'll never guess what the Proko employee made me rant on.
Oh my god! Like, I know now. I'm just like, no, I'm angry, and like, And we didn't even go like into the pros and cons, like objective pros and cons, because like NFTs still have a long way to go. But there's a lot of good stuff too. It's not a scam. That's for sure. It doesn't meet the government's own definition of that, unfortunately. But anyway, sorry. See, more rants. Oh, I can't stop. But you're all beautiful, and thank you for being with me this whole time as I was like painting, as I was like we were having a good time, and being with me and through this little rant and being with me. I really appreciate you guys. Thanks for having me too.
Yeah, of course, anytime. Hopefully we can do more of this in the future. Hopefully, like after the pandemic ends too.
Yeah,
that'd be nice to like. Because you live in LA, right?
No, I'm in San Francisco.
Oh, well, you live in California. I feel like you could visit Stan's studio, you know.
Yeah, like it's just like a blip and I'm there, you know.
Right.
Like
yeah. Cool. Yeah. So
yeah,
maybe you guys will get to collab on something.
Oh, that would be cool. Ooh, let's do an oil painting.
Oil painting collab.
Hey,
we'll make it happen.
What does a collab? Is it like literally we collaborate on one painting?
It could be, I don't know. It could be something you guys work out. I feel like there's tons of different ways you can collab. I know there was a recent collab on YouTube where I don't know who started it, but there was a YouTube channel that I think they did a little bit of a painting and then they sent it to another YouTube channel and then they continued it and then sent it to another YouTube channel. And I think it ended with Jazza.
That's so cute.
Yeah, it's pretty cool idea. That was like a massive collab.
That's like an exquisite corpse type of situation.
Yeah.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, there's a lot we can do. So
I like it. I dig it.
Absolutely.
Yeah, hit me up. Hopefully when things aren't so crazy.
Cool.
But hit me up. Because it sounds awesome.
Absolutely. And we're and like shamelessly plug yourself too while we have people. So
yeah.
I'll put up I'm sure most people follow you on Instagram already, but like where else can people find you?
Yeah, actually I'll give you like all the details.
Cool.
So here's the thing. I actually don't post as much on Instagram because again, that's my space for just art. No rants, no nothing. So, God, I'm so angry.
Okay, so Twitter. Find Karla angry on Twitter.
But to be fair, and here's the other thing, I've actually like stepped away from that as much as possible, just because it's just not healthy for you. You need to breathe.
Okay, find Karla out in the middle of the woods.
Listen, like here's I'll give you like location, like longitude, and no. Listen, like just like Twitter's good, Facebook good, Instagram's good. But if you go to my webpage, karlaortizart.com, you'll find a link to all those places. For a while I was doing Twitch. That's on pause, unfortunately. But what's not on pause is next week I have a workshop going on, the reference zone. So we are going to talk even more so about how to use references into your portraits or into your paintings. And that's going to be a lot more detailed than the answer I gave earlier. And yeah, that's about it. That's all I got because my brain's fried and I need a drink.
Absolutely. And for anyone else that's interested, we actually have 2 more live streams tomorrow.
Damn.
Yeah.
John, you are on it.
Oh man, I'm so busy. So yeah, we've got one at 12 p.m. PDT, and then we've got Dong Ho Kim doing a doodling live stream as well at 4:30 or 4. It's on the channel, so yeah, if you guys want to check that out too.
Have fun.
Cool. Oh yeah,
I'm gonna have all the panels tomorrow.
Oh yeah, you're busy too as well, right?
Yeah, I have a panel at 10 a.m. which I'm a night owl, so I usually wake up at like 10.
Okay, so yeah, guys,
between 9 to 10.
Out.
So I'm gonna be like, and it's like it's a good one too. So I don't know.
Nice.
That's gonna be interesting. And then I have another panel. No, I think I have a drawing jam. Those are fun. A custom drawing jam, and then we wrap it all up with tea. I hate the name, but it's how it goes. Tea at Karla's. It's at 5 to 6 p.m. PT. It's gonna be myself, Ian McKay, Greg Manches, and Lauren Penapinto. And we're all going to bring our favorite cup of tea and we're just going to have a chat. And we're going to, like, if friends were chatting, and you're welcome to bring your tea with you, come along with your own cup of tea and ask questions. And we're just having a nice chat. Okay. So, yeah.
Am I allowed to like barge in and then ask about NFTs, like completely blow it up?
Oh no, I think we might. I think we usually try to stay away from
the controversial topic. That's controversial.
Yeah, just because we're ending it. If it was earlier, we'd be like, yeah, because I would love to. Like, Ian has a fantastic, all the artists have like such a good perspective, and they're all different. Some people are like in the middle; they don't quite. Some people don't really like them. Some people are for them, and it's always interesting to see all the different perspectives as well. Mm-hmm. And when you have conversations face to face, they're actually so much more they're just easier to have. They don't get as intense as when you're behind the screen and you're like, rah! Ah! Dear sir or madam, you suck so much.
Cool. Well, okay. So tea time. When is the tea time too for people that are interested in that?
5 to 6 p.m. Pacific time.
Cool. Okay. Well, yeah. You guys. I think that's it. You guys will know where to find Karla.
We're done.
Cool.
We're wrapping up. Okay. Love you.